Sure.
Hitting go live now. There, hit go live. So it should say we're live now. It does, I guess. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Does the YouTube live service still work? We've been away for a few days. Does it still work? This is the big test.
Did it fall apart in our absence?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
You know, we're the glue that holds YouTube together. Us being on here live. So hopefully it's still here.
And let's see if this is proof. You know. So I kind of want you to fail right now, just to prove it right. Or no, I guess it's I don't know. But yes, Stuart, and you know what? I just rewatched Discovery for the second time, and I hadn't watched it since before Christmas, and so boy, mentally, so much has happened in between watching it and watching it, because you do a lot in those days. It feels like at least a week has passed in the space of 3 days.
Yeah.
God.
I was the same way. Like I watched this late on Christmas Eve before we went to bed, and then kind of forgot about it because Christmas was a thing and busy, and then had to watch it yesterday before my live first reaction view again because I just needed to get synced up with it again. I just didn't. Yep. So
it's weird to come back to it. It does just feel like a whole different re-experience. It's strange. Not obviously in like a bad way or anything.
But you know what? We got 62 people watching and 33 likes. That's like a 50% ratio, maybe a little bit more, 51%. So hit that like button, guys, if you haven't already. It's very important.
It's really important, Stuart. Like
it is.
Like important.
Yes, it's super important. Blue thumbs are important. Yeah. Anyway, so welcome back, guys. This is Mandalorian Monday. We're going to talk about the Mandalorian's appearance in Discovery.
There is a new child. And we all made that joke today.
Yes, you're right. They even called the child at one point.
Child.
Yeah. So, and, you know, I just watched Wonder Woman 84 and, you know, Pedro
seen
Pascal is in that.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
It all links together.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it turns out that Doug Jones is actually the motion cap artist for Grogu. Because he's so talented. So he plays an 8 foot tall guy in one show and a 3 foot tall in the other. That's true, right? That's the thing. I didn't just make that up, right?
That's 100% legit. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. BJ Turan, $5. Art of Star Trek: The Motion Picture is a good book. Got it for Christmas. Reading through, it is interesting on how it was made. Wish more on costuming. Yeah, it is a good book. I haven't really looked through mine yet. I've had mine for quite a while now and just never really looked through it. I need to do that at some point. But yeah, I wanted to get the Art of Discovery book, which is now a thing. So I got to get that at some point.
Yeah, we've talked several times about going in and doing a more in-depth look at those books and find really unique stuff and analyze them. I mean, there's really, stuff obviously wasn't finished or wasn't put to camera. Always reasons for that. But to see the logic and behind and the what if, especially the Brian Fuller, like, proto-Discovery mistakes. But, speaking of not mistakes, I will share to you wonderful people so you can then jump back in and join us. So, see you in a minute.
Oh, share. Be free. While he's sharing, though, 97 of you here, which is great. 50 likes. Let's hit that like button, guys, if you haven't already. Also, if you want to super chat like BJ just did, it is a good way to support the channel and get your comment read on the air. We do read them all. We do read a lot of the other comments from the regular chat as well. Some really interesting ones. So, but if you want to get your point across, for sure, definitely super chat is a great way to get noticed. Or send a PayPal. The PayPal information is trekyards@hotmail.com. It's all in the description down below. If you do send a PayPal, though, make sure that you tell us in the chat. One of the moderators, if we have any today, will question via the email through PayPal. But yeah, other great ways to support the channel. Of course, heading on over to any of the links down below. Teespring store is a great one to get some Trekyards merchandise. Hold on one second here. There we go. Also, like Eagle Moss and stuff, great ways to save yourself some money and get some cool stuff. The Governor is now a member of the channel. He has joined the ranks and is a commander. So welcome, Commander, to the Trekyards world. What?
Commander Governor?
The Commander Governor. So welcome. Good to see you. And joining the channel is a great way to help as well. Another great way to support us is by hitting that join button or by heading over to Patreon/Trekyards. Those also support us, especially with there's going to be no new Trek or anything for a while, first part of 2021. So we'll be doing our regular reviews, our TNG. We might mix it up with some other stuff as well. We will be doing stuff, but with no new content. Supporting us in any way you can is greatly appreciated. So there you go. He's back now.
And guys, show us that time has not passed, and you can super chat and say hey. Let us know what you think, because we're getting near the end, Stuart. As we've said with Picard, this is when the payoff needs to be as good as the setup. It's important.
Will it be? We don't know yet. That being said, this one left on a bit of a cliffhanger.
A bit of a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
All of our heroes are in mortal danger, Stuart. Bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Captain Shannon Murphy says, do some Voyager stuff, please. Like I said, in the new year, we'll be mixing up the reviews. So you'll be seeing all the great stuff you guys want to see. Don't worry. We're not sure exactly how we're going to lay it out, but we will be reviewing a variety of things.
Yeah, we're getting to the point in TNG where they started rolling out the other shows. And so they start to become concurrent. So, we'll see. But I don't know if you guys saw, but we've been releasing daily celebratory animations each day to celebrate them in between. The first day was Enterprise K7, second day was Enterprise D at Warp, and today, that's why I bring it up, speaking of Voyager, is a Delta Flyer meets Voyager, and these are all 1080p HD original studio models, modernized slightly. It'll be interesting to see though which ones get the most views, because clearly it's like who likes the most, and I think people are burned out on K7. K7 stuff never does that well, even though we both like K7. But Enterprise D, people love. Voyager.
Apparently, I just looked at the analytics for that. Wow. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's very positive comments. I mean, these are meant to be like ultra high and sexy ones, so it makes sense. But yeah, we got some coming out every day until the New Year's Day, and there's I don't know if you've actually looked.
Yeah, I just went in to check the.
Yeah, some fun stuff, including one very special one, and you'll understand why. So, yes.
There you are. I'm back now. Yay. Yeah, I'm just going in to check the. Okay, yeah, there. I already added them to playlists and added keywords and stuff, tags the other day when they got uploaded. All right, cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Oi, Governor throws in £5. Greeting, lads. Ever heard the expression "too soon"? AKA finding out the burn now. Why not later? I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. A little disappointed. Okay, well, let's get into our thoughts on it.
Well, too soon. I mean, we're 11 in. You can't get
and
much.
It's 120 years later. I mean, hey, it's about time they found something out.
Yeah. Stuart, so what do you think of season 3, episode 11, the third to last? I mean, there's 2 left of Star Trek Discovery.
I was underwhelmed by this one. Like we talked about earlier, and like I talked about in my first reaction review, it was just kind of there for me. There's a lot of good elements to this one. Tilly in command, the way she deals with Osira, I thought was really good. The visuals are great. The actor who plays Sakal is very, very good. And the visual effects for the monster, the Kelp monster, are great. Seeing Doug Jones, just human. So there's a lot of really good stuff here. But overall, it's just like, oh, that caused the burn. Okay, great. Moving on. It hasn't been answered yet. It'll be in the next part, hopefully, more explanation for that. There is a little bit of dialogue talking about the in utero, it adapted to the radiation and the dilithium, and I thought that was kind of stupid because it's not how fetuses and things like that work.
Although to be fair,
unless there's some scientific help from the science, ship.
Well, I mean, you've also never had we've never seen a Kelpian inside this sort of proto.
I know, but
it's a unique situation. And besides, Culber did explicitly say, or was he engineered, genetically engineered? He says that earlier on as a setup. So they give all the information in the episode. Just kind of
they did, but it's like throwing a 50 pregnant women at Chernobyl site and going, good luck, we're going to have super resistant humans because your babies are going to adapt to the radiation and be able to explode all nuclear reactors all over the planet when they get
Stuart, it's
upset.
31st century technology and you're complaining that they can't change, you know what I mean? It's like, it's 31st century. Maybe not TOS can do it.
But if the scientists made sure that her baby was going to survive by changing it, I'll accept that. That's perfectly fine. But for it to just adapt to it is total bullshit. And
It's
that's
all
one
of
of the
the
lines
above.
in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of not made clear. Burned Out throws in $1 with a teary face. Or at mad face. It's mad face. It's not teary face.
No, it's fuming from the eyes.
Yes, or the invisible nostrils. But no, the guy that did play Sukal, he did remind me a lot of Freddy Krueger. Not vicious and evil, but just the way he speaks, the face make, the prosthetics. There's a lot of Freddy Krueger there, which really takes me out of it, unfortunately. He is very childlike, though, which I kind of appreciate. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. There's a lot to talk about with this one.
And yet, not a lot.
True, but we'll...
Because I think this was our shortest review, I think, the edited one of the entire season.
Really.
It's a weird one. But not in a bad way, just a weird one.
And some weird editing decisions. Like they use reaction shots of Saru and of Reese that have the old deltas on in two different parts of the episode. In the beginning one with the Tilly thing. Yeah, I know. So anyway, lots to break down here. But overall, I was just kind of underwhelmed with this one. A lot of people said it felt very Star Trek, and it does. It does have kind of that Star Trek vibe. But
well, it's Star Trek meets Alice in Wonderland with a bit of Red Riding Hood a la Burnham's costume in the first shot. Because that is totally a Red Riding Hood visual, everything about that. The thing is, though, as I said in another review, like I think you went in with more expectations than I did. I must have gone with a blank slate because I didn't have expectations to get let down on. I was like, "What is this? No idea." Oh, okay, moving on. Was I think you may have been more excited, I guess, than I was, and that can often be the death knell.
I'm never excited about anything.
So Stuart, ask me what I thought. You know what? No, someone in the chat ask me what I think. Who wants to be the one in the chat to ask me what I think?
Commander's now overly positive suddenly. That's as good as asking what you think. What do you think, Samuel?
What, a backhanded sort of...
Wow.
Whoa.
Hold on, we got a super chat. 5,000 rubles.
Don't even know what that is.
From
Eugene. £50. That's $60.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Eugene.
Woo!
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. The episode worries me. It feels so second half of season 2. I think they'll flop the landing. See, that's what I was worried about, is them snowballing the end of the season, and it seems like they're kind of doing that.
But it still felt slow, though. I can't...
Well, he gets upset. Oh my God, he almost caused the burn.
What, another burn?
It was Sukal? What? Okay, let's glaze over that and just keep going.
Well, it's not the most important thing right now, is it?
It was at the end of the episode.
Discovery's been taken over.
It's at the end of the episode, so it better be
that's a joke.
Talked about next episode.
So what do I think? Bajoran and Jason both asked. Thanks, and Charles. Yeah, so for me, it's in as much as you are meh, I am like a more positive meh. Like it's fine. I'm
not negative meh.
No, your tone is pretty. Your tone is like when I'm negative meh. It's like I didn't really sort of enjoy it, but didn't really enjoy it. Like your tone is about more negative. It's like you're on the 5.
I don't mean to be. It's very neutral meh.
That's what I mean. I'd say you're this meh and I'm this meh. It's just like two slight flip sides.
It's just missing each other.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the sort of thing I would. Okay, it's hard to phrase. I enjoyed it okay. It's not one I'd necessarily watch. Although I think it's slightly better on a second watch. I'll say that. I think it improved slightly once you know what's going to happen. The dialogue makes a bit more sense. I think Burnham's acting is actually really good. I give her a lot of credit. There's a lot of nice nuances that, again, it tells you that a massive part of season 1 and season 2 was a shitty script writing. Because these same actors, better scripts, much better performances. I don't think they all took acting classes over the summer. You know, it's the script, they're able to do a lot more. So the performances are really good this week. Or at least interesting.
Mhm.
The child was less annoying the second time round. He was more watchable. I didn't know. Actually, the second time I didn't get as much Freddy Krueger. You mentioned it. I was looking. I actually saw less second time round, but I saw more child. He was less annoying.
Oh, when you see him on screen, just a screen cap, it's like that's Freddy Krueger.
Well, screen cap, yes, but performance wise, I was more we went on, I was being pulled away from that. But look wise, yes. Well, I think I'd like to hear. I'm hoping that he tells in episode 2 that he's a Kelpian and something, like he's a mixed race alien. That's also why he was able to survive. He didn't feel like a full Kelpian. His makeup seemed more light than a Saru. I know it's also been 900 years. That is also fine. But I'd like to hear he's like Kelpian and a, you know, which would be why he survived. Sorry, sir. Yes, you saw another super chat.
Yes, Christian Murphy puts in $2. Season would be better as 20+ episodes. I think we all agree with that. Star Trek seasons should have a lot of episodes to explore each character. But yes.
And yes, Jill, we did. We talked about it. Go back. And yes.
Stephen Burnside, £2. The in utero is very Melody Pond from Doctor Who.
True.
Okay.
Big spoiler, but yes, someone becomes special powers because they have sex and make a baby inside the TARDIS. Because of time energy.
Well, was it conceived in the nebula then? Because then that might make more sense.
Well, no, but the way, once you realize the storyline, the way they say it, it was from cell splitting. So
cell division, yes.
So from very, very, very early. So either it was conceived or it was like she was just starting.
Maybe the head stuff is the equivalent to morning sickness. You only get it in the first 3 months.
Again, watch it second time.
I'd be fine with that. They even explained that when the burn happened, the kid would have been 4 or 5 years old.
Yes, there are things you don't notice second time round because they give you actually more information than you think. So I think I don't think it was conceived I think it was conceived the day before, the week before. So it was like literally it was
would
born.
Have been fine with that.
It was born with the radiation as part of its body. As we said, that's why the mum survived because it was able to keep her alive. But then living 4 years without or with the mum is interesting. There's layers here that they have to expound upon.
Yeah, that's still not how nature works.
It's an alien in the future.
Go sex at Chernobyl and tell me that kid's going to be resistant to radioactive.
It's the lithium, though. It's special. It's science fiction, man.
Danny Shields, €20. Ooh. Merry Christmas, lads. Feel like these last 3 episodes are too interlinked to judge independently. Exactly. Until the full arc has been told. Thanks for all the vids this year. Here's to growing Trekyards in 2021. Well, thank you very much, Danny. Very much appreciated. And yeah, hopefully we do get a lot more subscribers. Our subscriber count's been going up really good. So yeah, we've been doing really good and we're proud of ourselves.
Hundreds of videos this year, so
yeah,
you'd hope so.
And Captain Ron Phillips, $5. To call being the cause of the burn doesn't seem so wonky to me when I think of Kes from Voyager and her power towards the end of her story arc. True.
Yeah, she sent Janeway 6,000 light years.
I'd accept that he's the next evolutionary whatever for the Kelpians. Like, he's one of the first ones that's exhibiting these powers. Like we saw in that TNG episode where they're hunting the guy down because he was displaying these powers and they were afraid of him, right? And then it's the next evolutionary step in there. Fine, but we need better explanations then.
I think I'm at the point where the writing has been so much better this year that they've obviously thought it all through. I do wish this had been set up earlier, because to throw the idea of Kelpian ship being introduced that didn't seem as important as it could have been, and then the child introduced at the start of this episode. But how would you possibly introduce that earlier? So I get that. How would you introduce that, Because as I said to you previously, this season isn't actually about the burn. Even though it is about the burn, it isn't about the burn, which is an interesting way of doing it. It's about the aftermath and just the closing the book and understanding why, and understanding there is no greater threat coming after you, like in Picard, which they're actually going to be coming after them in season 2. Not that they actually are, but they should do, etc. So by able to work out why, you close the biggest mystery of our time, or at least of your father's time, and then you can move forward. It's a backdrop to the universe, not actually the point of the season, which is actually interesting. And so you dole it out literally for 11 episodes, but those 11 episodes are actually about building the universe. And then season 2, as in 4, but really season 2, because who wants to watch season 1 too, is about bringing it all back together again. which is kind of a weird thing to do. But I mean, burn was what 5 generations ago, so it was a while ago. You know, it wasn't like 5 years ago. It was a long time. It was pre-Vance at all. So it shows you how old people can be post burn. Which, as you said before, how the hell is this kid still alive if he's 115? Yeah, 115.
Oh yeah.
20. Yeah. And he doesn't look a day over, 70. Not that we have any idea about Kelpian life cycle, but
yeah,
heavily mutated, I'm guessing, in all the ways.
Okay, well, all right. Spam the chat. This is what we're gonna do. First of all, 214 people here, 92 likes, guys. We can hit 150 easily. Hit that like button if you haven't. But I want everyone to spam the chat right now. What do you think of this episode? Like, meh, or dislike? Go. Because we like to get a consensus as to what people are feeling. And I love the spam the chat ideas because Samuel came up with that. It was really great.
We had like 500 people and it was so gratifying to see like, there's so many people. But it's tricky because it's definitely one of the weaker ones of the season, but it's a part 1 of part 2, It's like the Mirror Universe 2. The second one was weaker because the setup was so good and the payoff wasn't quite strong enough. This one, I think the setup would be weaker and the payoff would be stronger. I'm hoping.
Like, spam, like, dislike, like,
You didn't spam the chat, technically speaking.
Dislike, like, it's okay. Dislike.
More likes I was expecting.
Very many more likes than I was expecting. Most of the people in my live first reaction last night didn't really enjoy it.
That feels like a full split between all 3, I'll be honest. Feels like an even split between all 3. Okay.
Yeah. Tony's probably the best. Meh. I'm just reserving my judgment. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury because we have to review each one and score it before we see the outcome. But
it's so then fun to be able to think about what's going to happen next week and then get stuff right. Like you called out, it'll start at the funeral, and I was like, yeah, Stuart was right. Yeah.
I was also right about the Grey thing. Didn't have anything to do with anything.
Stuart, when I edited our review, we didn't mention them once.
I know. I noticed that afterwards too, when I was sitting on the couch. I'm like, it's because it's not important. It really isn't.
Not at all. I just didn't realize that. We think we don't filter, so we think of it and we talk about it, but we didn't even think about it during the time.
And Jet was in it for 1 second. She had a line. What do you think I'm doing? And then she's had a reaction to getting asked for her comm badge.
That was clear filmed last week. I mean, that is just...
But no, that's what they need. Just if you're not going to be in the episode, have just there,
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. MC puts in $10, so thank you very much. Will this change much for the Federation public relations to the galaxy at large? It was still, albeit unintentionally, the Federation's fault. The Vulcans certainly assigned blame with their project. Well, we had no indication that the Kelpian science vessel was a Federation ship. It could have just been the Kelpian Science Academy or something. It's not Starfleet.
Well, they were part of the Federation, though, so they're a Federation member world. I mean, they still are under the unfortunate umbrella.
Oh.
But they're not Starfleet, and they weren't an official Federation science ship per se.
Yeah, we don't know.
Although, odd comment, Baptiste says these are the guys that had a stream comparing Star Trek women and Star Trek woman actresses and classifying them by their appearances, right? No, we've never done a live objectifying Star Trek women and comparing them. No.
Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd be a weird thing to do.
All right. Well. Right.
Okay.
The Saint puts in £1 with no comment, but thank you very much.
What on earth is that picture thing? Weird. Weird. And besides, like, if an accident is an accident is an accident, this cabin ship crashed. That sucks. Pregnant lady gave birth on a ship, and then, you know what I mean? So many things happened. Although, Stuart, I bloody well want to hear, why did the Vulcans think Project, whatever it was called, caused the burn? They were sure. Where was that? Why did they think that? How did that information prove they caused the burn? Says 1/3 of the group. What could the possibility?
You cut out, so I missed the beginning of that. But what was that? Say it again, just quick.
Sorry.
You want to learn what?
I want to learn what was in the SP19 data that made Vulcans think they actually caused the burn, and they were a third of them were
Which-
sure.
I think it was just the timing of it. It was probably when they did one
Oh,
of their
goodness.
first tests, and that's when the burn happened. Would be my guess.
That still annoys me. That's a loose end I really want to know about, because Vulcans, if they're sure about anything, then boom, you know.
Yeah, I think it was just timing related, that one probably, but
Speaking of timing, I think it's time to start the video.
yeah.
So we start with a beauty, although a little bit darker than it should be. Although we do get confirmation that what we think weren't windows are not windows. Those slits aren't windows. They're lines for where the windows are. So few. It's subtle,
Yeah.
but they didn't shit the boat there. Shit the boat?
It's just the bed.
And it's okay. I mean, they're a bit hidden. It means you can't really tell they're windows. But, okay, that's... Boy, that plating is so obnoxious when you get close. Wow. Jesus. Anyway.
Kind of, yeah.
Anyway. But yes, here we are.
All right, so yes, at the wake, there's whatever. Gray shows up. Sorry for being gone, and you can see me, nobody else can. That's not how it's supposed to be. I buggered off. What? Okay. I do like Stamets, though. Is Gray here? Look, if we weren't at a wake
Yeah.
or a memorial, I'd give you a piece of my mind.
Yeah, given that he has no proof that these people are like experiencing this, his commitment to believing her is wonderful. Like,
Yes.
he's fully committed to that moment. Although I wish there was some catalyst for Gray's reappearance. It feels like a contractual thing, like we had to. I know they're going to be important next episode, but there should have been something. Anything. I guess she was feeling lonely, but she's been feeling lonely for like 4 weeks. You know? Although I love the reasoning why, except that's not how Trill works. So I'm still waiting for the reason why this is happening at all. So I still feel so there's still a bit of a disconnection between why.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, it's not better to be inside the symbiont, living with the other hosts as parts of memories rather than existing without anyone to talk to or interact with or eat or drink or sleep or feel. Are you kidding? Do you really want to be a ghost that can only talk to one person? That sucks. You know?
Yeah.
That sucks.
But Stamets gets an alert that the computer found some data on the Katheth.
Kythera?
Katheth. It's K-I-A K-I. Oh my God, K-H-I apostrophe E-F E-T-E-H. Oh my God, I can't speak today. Kieth.
Oh yes, Kiev. Yeah. Isn't there a
and I love
Kiev?
people...
Isn't there a ship called that?
No, I don't think so. I love how somebody complained last time that the information was being displayed wrong on Paul's thing, but he walks up and he like turns his hand to turn the information to face Saru, which I thought was great.
And well done for Anthony Rapp. His eye line felt very real. Like when he swapped his eyes, felt very good.
They're getting better at that.
Yeah, considering they have no there's nothing to respond to. Although I felt a little bit not annoyed but sad that they interrupted the wake. Like Paul doesn't pause. He's like, "Oh look, Captain," rather than "Captain, I talked to you for a second." I know they're meant to have this interaction with everybody, but you know, if you were at a wake and suddenly a science thing happened, it's like, you know, a bit more respect. Just feels a bit abrupt.
Yeah, but it's just Giorgio. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, there you go. Answered.
Danny Shields, €5.
Thank
234 watching, 124 likes. Like Spike now. So Danny
Goodness.
Shields is doing the moderator
challenge
thing. Danny, thank you so much. Didn't have to super chat for that, but I appreciate it. 237 people watching, 125 likes. Guys, let's get to 150. There's only 25 more people that need to hit like. We can probably hit 200, but we're not going to ask for that.
And thanks everybody for jumping back in. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I mean, that's great to see so many of you. I mean, obviously it's no longer a holiday or anything, but really good to see you guys. But Stuart, I was totally right. Didn't ask for permission, just spawned right there. Asked for forgiveness, not permission. And I was right. It was an instant. We got to do it right now.
Well, we get the explanation here that there's a survivor, and I think it was Tilly, assumed that it was the scientist lady, and he's like, no, not her, a child. Those marks on her forehead weren't from radiation. So we get that explanation. He knew that. He didn't say anything. Not a huge deal, I guess.
Well, he was keeping everything close. That was his whole thing.
Because they even said the radiation's affecting her. Look at her forehead, and he didn't say anything, which is interesting. So
it's a reveal. You know, it's like, why not talk about a thing until the moment when you could? Yeah.
You know, one thing that annoyed me in this twice when they're talking about the crash site, like, I found out where the ship landed. No, you found out where the ship crashed. I hate that they refer to a crash site as a landing site twice.
Yeah.
Anywho, not a big deal.
And also there was a big glaring omission of seeing a crashed ship.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because once we get a sense of the scale, we will not quite buy the interior as much. But it's a holodeck. So, but I was like, there's no, like, it should have had a beam to ship. But I mean, as someone who's done CG, agree. Doing ground is real bitch. So I get that. Yeah. I get that. There's a moment at the end where, well, near the end where the burn wave, there you go, coin the phrase, burn wave, that comes out. And it feels as if it comes from a cloaked ship. But actually it's hitting a cloaked ship and making it ripple and Discovery. But for a second I thought, because I mean, everyone can cloak, that's fine, whatever. I assumed it was maybe cloaked in the middle of something and it wasn't crashed, it was like just crashed in space, because you can still be crashed in space, like phenomena stopping you, etc. So I was a bit I thought maybe I was a hint to it, but I was a bit disappointed we didn't get a ship, but you know, at some point I'm sure we will.
Yeah. Stephen Burnside, £5.
Hey.
Will the sentient sphere data get involved and attempt to help the crew again? Ooh. Part 2 has a lot of work to do. Hey, I would love it if Zora all of a sudden made an appearance and was like, what are you doing? No. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit in our prediction video on Wednesday, I'm sure.
But it would have to. You couldn't write the story without that. That would be impractical, I think.
Yeah, because they couldn't even destroy the ship in season 2 without shutting off the self-destruct, you know, so it takes care of itself. But yeah, so then we get the spore into the nebula, and we get the really weird reaction shot of Saru with the Delta. They just didn't film enough reactions for shots, I guess, so they're using the ones from, but oh my god. It's just the top of his badge, no one will notice. And then later they use Reese, and it's like Reese wasn't even on that side of the bridge, but that's okay.
And isn't it weird? They have a new random guest actress give some lines as a bridge officer rather than your main bridge crew.
Yeah, and they mentioned Lieutenant Nielsen's working on it. That's Ariam lady.
Yeah.
So she's not even in this episode, but she's working on fixing the sensors or whatever. It's like, wow, what?
Why aren't you giving our main bridge? Why invent a new lady? Have the bloody existing crew. It's really frustrating me because, like, it always feels like they're doing it on purpose at this point. You know, but the VFX are quite nice here, flying through the thing. It's still a bit too dark, but it is inside Nebula. I get it, and so I liked a lot the idea that this ship, right, is at least outside wise upgraded to 32nd century technology. If its shields are dropping 10% every few seconds,
yeah,
nothing in any of our previous canon could exist in this nebula. You know, no Enterprise ever created could possibly exist. You know, and obviously if this had been our previous discovery, it would have been dead before it even got the first wave. Like this is a top tier disturbance, and I like that sort of scale escalation. It's like, you know, this thing is impervious, and then you can explain why no one ever managed to find it or get into it, because like unless you knew there's a dilithium nebula in there, you wouldn't risk it because you will be destroyed. And I mean, they didn't get inside. They didn't manage to get through the barrier before their ship got. They had to jump out and then jump inside. So no ship can probably get in without being destroyed successfully. So I like that implied danger, actually.
Yeah. Ionized radiation. So the book says he's going to take his ship in, which can reconfigure and is smaller, and he identifies a pocket that they can actually spore jump into. So, I mean, good for using book ship. Burned Out, though, puts in $2 and says, if Zora saves the day, all is forgiven.
I don't want Deus Ex spore data again.
I wants Heel to save the day.
Oh.
He's come in with a fleet of ships, and he's in charge. He's a captain.
He's got the Enterprise. It was actually near his base. It's been stuck there for 120 years. That'd be kind of cool, actually, in a stupid way.
Uh, Danny Shields, €5. Did anybody else half expect Zora and the Calypso Discovery to be the Federation ship that was arriving before it was revealed to be Osira? No, I never once thought that.
I always thought it was Osira. Like,
Well, I didn't. I thought a Federation ship. Okay, cool. We're gonna see one of the other designs. It's somebody that's been stuck out here, but that's very quickly by the wayside.
yeah, I mean, I was like, that's obvious. I thought it was implied enough that it was going to be her, even though she was too. And I just think tonally it made sense, and we did see her in the trailer, so it was like, she's there somewhere. But I did quite like the book little sequence here, and I appreciated. This is how you set up a character better. He basically does almost sacrifice his life for this, and he does it instantly. I wish they weren't able to fix him within minutes, because that totally devalues the risk factor. It just means that as long as you get back, especially if he's almost dead by the trip there, wouldn't he be dead by the trip back? Because you have to take the same trip back. So it was a bit abrupt, and I wish he'd been burned and hurt throughout the rest of the episode to actually show more risk. But again, it is also 31st century tech. Okay, fine. So it's a sort of they almost get it right, but it's a good character move for him. He did not think he was going to live, and as in potentially. So I like that.
Yeah. One small glitch there when they beam him to his ship. Saru says, "Mr. Reese, transport him now," and then you see Bryce do the transporting.
Yeah.
Small little thing, but worth pointing out, that little mistake. But yeah, seeing the ship reconfigure and stuff was really cool. It is a neat little design for sure. And then to come back into the bay, like it takes up a lot of that bay space. Come on. Yeah, we've seen the shuttle bay door open, but that ship's supposedly in there, and it's not in there. But whatever.
Oh, and also note, small thing, it's really, really, really hard to see. But when they've now escaped it, there's actually like repair bots fixing the outside of the hull on the wide shot. It's really subtle.
Well, she says in sickbay, the dots are fixing your ship. She does.
No, I mean on the Discovery.
Oh, yeah. But later she says that the dots are fixing his ship when he's back in sickbay.
That was nice.
Yeah, which I didn't hear any time. I just saw it when I was doing the subtitles.
I had fixing the ship.
Okay.
But it's like that, we've sort of talked about them never bothering to fix a ship, and that is such a subtle detail. But yes, they got damaged via the hull and they're fixing it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Why not?
Area 51 throws in $5. At least Book doesn't have to bother waiting for the shuttle bay door to open. Okay, sure. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Or use the stairs, because you just beam in and out of shuttles and ships. It's very handy. That's it.
Yeah. So that scene where it docks, it seems like they needed some exposition to explain what's going on. So there's a voiceover, which is really weird. Burnham says Culber says he should be fine after a few cycles of DNA recombination. And then Saru, and it's a really long shot, and you don't see anything, just the ship. It's a pan of the ship. And Saru says, "Well, good. Then let us see what Ensign Tilly has for us." It just felt out of place to me. Like, we need those lines of dialogue, because otherwise people like Trekyards are going to complain that all they needed was a line of dialogue to explain something. So.
Well, like I said, this edit's very abrupt. Like, he goes from being, saying, not that you need to show the distance in on screen, but to say, he's basically dying, he's unconscious, radiation's, he's got 10% shields, radiation's going to kill him very, very quickly. And then, autopilot to get him out, and then suddenly, and now he's back at the ship. It's like, oh, but that was the hardest bit. And I'm going to assume he can fly better than the autopilot, which means the autopilot's going to hit more stuff than he did. So it's... Yeah.
Or not take as many risks, just take longer to get back, because it's not doing that.
Which 10% shields also means he's dead. So it's a weird one. Doesn't quite work.
Well, just because you're in radiation doesn't mean you're dead instantly. There's a lot of things that happen to you with radiation. So
I just meant they gave him 4 hours on a low radiation zone until there's no point rescuing them. But Book, flying in a nebula without any shields is in the heart of the radiation is going to be enough to kill him. You'd assume in minutes, if not seconds. So I'm just going by. It's a very dangerous nebula. I mean, it's destroying a 32nd century ship's shields in a minute, so it's presumably enough to kill someone in seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But then we get the explanation that this planet has dilithium throughout. And it's like, ooh, a planet full of dilithium. Wow, that's awesome. That's how pretty much all dilithium starts. But okay, good job.
The audience doesn't know that.
And I think it meant in this post-burn world, that's impressive. So yes.
And to be fair, they probably aren't exactly, dilithium finders. You know what I mean? They've never seen this. They're quite impressed. Although I wish in this graphic there'd been a color coded thing like blue bead dilithium and show it like spiking all the way into the core and like.
Yeah.
So the way they say it and the way I thought it was implied, but I think I'm just reaching, is that it's actually almost made fully of dilithium. Like it's not just a planet with dilithium. It's like basically a crystalline planet, not fully, but of absurdly high levels. Because it would have been kind of nice if Tilly had said, we'd scan our database. This is the biggest single source dilithium found in the last 900 years.
Yeah.
Like that would have given us reason more for the burn. Like it takes a critical mass of dilithium to resonate to cause a thing. We may still get that, but I think they don't want to be specific because this is the MacGuffin, just like the spore planet. They can then get more spores from, and they're good. We've got unlimited fuel now. This will be it's unknown size, unlimited fuel. Well,
after the opening sequence, the very first line out of Vance's mouth is a planet made of dilithium, which kind of implies the whole planet is, right? The Federation could use that kind of news about now.
So underplayed. Then he gets so underplayed. I love it.
Yeah. Then he gets the information about the survivor and how we are going down. He's like, we. And Saru is like, yeah, I'm going down. I'm going to put Tilly in charge. And he kind of looks at Tilly like, and Saru's like, I trust her. It's fine. He's like, okay, whatever. But then he also says that Kaminar, the Emerald Chain has sent ships to do military operations around Kaminar. And Saru's like, should we go? And it's like, no, it's fine. I'll protect your planet. It's fine. But obviously Osira's trying to draw out Discovery because she knows that Saru is Kelpian. So
it worked last time. So
actually, it would have been great at the end of the episode where she says, "Where's your captain?" Oh, he's on one of the ships that they sent to Kaminar because you're threatening his planet. Instead of, "Where's your captain?" Oh, he's because she makes the deduction that they're protecting him because he's. Anyway, it would have been nice to throw that little bit of line in later, but not a big deal.
And one quick comment, X3E11 2005 says, what's the pet peeve of the shuttle bay door? In Star Trek 2, the Reliant doesn't even have them. Yes, the Reliant has shuttle bay doors.
Yes, marked 1 and 2.
They're big doors, and when you see them be used in other stuff, well, at least the escape was launched them anyway. And just the shuttle bay door is just open throughout multiple seasons for no reason. Shuttle bays are always closed.
Dangerous situations.
Yeah, you're sporing through a network of intergalactic mushroom energy. Why would you leave a door open which doesn't have, probably does have a force field, but a low-grade force field? It's just close the damn door. There's no reason for it to be open, and it's unsafe, and it's silly. So, they know better, but the animators like the idea of the dimensionality. So, it's a pet peeve because it's a stupid thing.
Yeah.
We call out stupid things. They don't get less
even
stupid.
Even left it open when they went through a wormhole that was going to travel through time.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how the shuttles got dispersed all throughout the timeline. Yeah.
So, pet peeve because it's stupid. But no, I like this conversation. Vance continues to impress. And I wish he'd said more about what they could have done with the dilithium, but he plays it close to the chest, and that's fine.
No, it is a good. I just love his hesitance with Tilly. It's almost like I'm hoping that in the next episode he kind of knew she might mess up because she is only an ensign, so he has a backup plan. But we'll talk about that on Wednesday with our prediction video. But it just seems like he might be holding a lot close to the chest, and he's like trying to take into account that.
Well, I mean, this is the most important ship, going to the most important location. He's going to have a backup plan with a crew that is so outdated. Talk about hundreds of years worth of new technology and battle plans. I mean, this crew is the fact that, and we are both blown away, the fact they haven't got a modern day Starfleet liaison is astounding to be on the ship. Absolutely, and you're out of focus. It's beyond ridiculous. And Book is great as he is, but it's astounding. But yeah, his face is just like an ensign. Great. The most useful ship in Starfleet, an ensign.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much.
But I mean, it shows nice trust of Saru. He certainly earned it to some extent.
And Area 51 makes a good point. Yeah, with them having the shuttle bay doors open, what are we heating the whole goddamn galaxy or universe? Yeah, it's apparent. That's a dad thing to say for sure. We're not, heating up the whole neighborhood. Anyway, sick bay. I love the whole "Did you miss me?" and he's talking to the cat, and Michael rolls her eyes like whatever. But he's fine. The dots are working on his ship. He says, I love my cat. It was favoring its front paw. Check it out. Whatever. So the chief medical officer is now a vet. But that's okay. I mean, that would probably worked on Cetaceans, right? So.
And this is the most fillery scene in the entire episode.
It is.
But it was nice.
I liked it.
Yeah. This is I said before, stuff for stuff's sake isn't good. Stuff for reasons is good. This cat has been well done. Little bits there, not overused. It's not a gimmick. It shows he's nice and cute, and I like the constant nice little chemistry with Burnham. It's just nice, And the fact that I'm not a big pet person, but the fact that he took a cat into a dilithium nebula radiation destroy death thing. It's quite serious.
Yeah, why not leave the cat on Discovery if
because
you
it was
like
that serious. He had to go. But it's like, oh yeah,
I can imagine he didn't have enough time.
No,
and he just hopped on the ship.
Obviously, beaming takes 1 second, but it was like, oh, do the cat.
That's the other thing. Why doesn't Adira and Book at least have a comm badge? I love how Adira has to borrow jets later. It's like if they're on the ship, they should have a comm badge, I think. But we see in TNG and stuff. Yeah. We see in TNG and stuff. A lot of civilians when they come on board do get a comm badge, just so they, And since these guys are more like crew now, I don't know. It's one thing that bothers me. No, but this scene was exposition done well because it was very naturalistic, like conversational. Book even says the planet full of dilithium is awesome because now no more planets will be stuck on their own, held hostage by Osira.
Yep.
Galaxy got smaller, and then he talks to Burnham about her worries about Saru and how he might not be able to make the tough decisions he needs to. So she needs to go down with him so that he even says, or Book says, he needs you down there, so go.
Yeah. I'll be honest though, I kind of laughed out loud in this moment because Burnham is the one that's taking the high road. I mean, calling the kettle black, he will use his personal feelings to override the mission.
Yes. I thought the same thing.
And Book is like, Michael, have you met yourself? Every mission. She's like, oh. Yeah. So, but the way she plays it is so like, I'm a good Starfleet officer. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, there needed to be a line of one of them saying, and I should know.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Like, it was so
Or,
close.
no, Book should have said, and who's talking right now? Yeah, I know, but I'm always right, because I'm Burnham.
Boom. I'm the leader of this show, damn it. First in the call shit. You're ninth. Shut up. Seriously, though, the way it is so serious. They can tonally that does not work as a moment. She's the worst person to be saying that to him. It's really funny when you actually watch it.
271 people here, 162 likes. We hit 150, which is awesome. Can we hit, with 271, we can hit 200. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Easily 175 is within reach. 200 is definitely also within reach. So hit that button and let us know that you love us or that you tolerate us or that we at least make it more interesting.
And Granite says, yeah, the expert is talking. Would also be an appropriate version of that scene.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Burned Out puts in $2. I think Willa tipped off Osira to their location, so she's calling that. Willa is the... Now, I've got a theory about that
clarify who that is for the audience, because it's...
Willa is the security chief. Yeah. Achilles head of security on the Starbase. So Vance is kind of in his handful of people around him. See, I think it's Non. I think Non probably got abducted by Osira and had that headband thing put on her that they put on Stamets. So Non gave them all the information they needed about the spore drive and stuff. but against her will. But we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Shields puts in €5.
Good.
What if Sahil is the chain informant? Dun dun dun. Well, considering he's out in the middle of nowhere and nobody's talked to him since he doesn't have much useful information, so Area 51 yells, "No, no, Sahil is a saint." Yes, poor Sahil. Hashtag Justice for Sahil. By the way, go hashtag that on Twitter and tag Trekyards, Captain Foley, Trekyards Sam, and everybody on the Discovery cast. We had Doug Jones liked that tweet. That tweet went pretty far, actually. It went up to Mike McMahon. They even said, somebody tagged Mike McMahon and said, if Discovery can't get it right, hashtag Justice for Sahil, Mike McMahon, with a little animated picture of just Sahil, which was great. Anthony Rapp liked it. So did, I believe Mary Wiseman did. It went pretty far and got a lot of retweets. So let's hashtag for Justice for Sahil again. Just make sure you at Trekyards and let us know that you did it. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Got a lot of people.
And he was the first
Twitter.
guy in the first episode that existed. You know, the first future guy.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
S1 Noir, Trekyards, will we see David Cronenberg again this season? No, I don't. Maybe. He has confirmed that he will be in season 4 though. So.
Well, he
yes.
was directly linked to the Giorgio story, so I'm gonna say maybe in one scene in the last episode, but no, he'll be so something else is happening in season 4. Here I am.
Yes. Yeah.
But I actually forgot about him, honestly, because it's moved away from that storyline.
Yeah. Chris Carlin, £5.
Thank you.
Season's greetings, lads. Thought the FX were great in this episode. Mm-hmm. If you want a laugh, search All I Want for Christmas is Q on YouTube. I will check that out later. But yeah.
But Stuart, we only need 23 more likes to hit 200.
We do.
That's not a lot.
23 people out there haven't hit like and can help us get to the 200 mark. So
shocking.
Please hit the thumbs up. Stephen W. Fathery, $5. I'm skeptical if it'll work, but I'm convinced the show is trying to make the case that Burnham is a better captain than Saru, and she will take command. Yeah, because she comes to a realization there during this conversation. Where is it? But that's what it... Yes. What happens if he has to make a painful decision, one that costs him? And then she says, but that's what it means to be a captain. And she kind of looks off, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever. A lot of people have speculated that Saru is going to stay with this kid because he can't leave the planet or something. He's going to be a father figure to him, whatever, and that she's going to take command of Discovery, which I can see them doing, honestly. But I don't want that. No one wants that, really.
We'll talk about that later. That could be a whole live, honestly, with the thinness of that. But it would be a shame. They found a good formula this year. Yes. Let's not rock the boat. Let's stabilize the boat and enjoy some stories. But speaking of some stories, we have Colbert and Hugh chatting. It's a very relatable scene. I don't quite buy that Hugh is suddenly referring back to his being dead and coming back and saying, I need this for me because I felt empty. It's like, yeah, but you haven't for the last 11 episodes.
Exactly.
So
there was that cold period when he came back and he didn't want anything to do with Stamets.
Which was all season 2 and it sucked.
Well, not all. There was a few episodes where it was a thing. But yeah, and then it was just gone. It was just fine again. It's like that wasn't... So if you're referring to that, you're trying to tie things together. You're grasping at straws at this point.
Yep.
But fine, whatever. At least you referenced it. At least you're remembering that you had that.
Just 11 episodes too late. Yeah. It's odd because he says, I want a purpose, but it's like, you've been quite important this season. Like, all the Giorgio stuff, like, you've had multiple purposes, multiple doctor... Like, you also helped cure that virus. Like, you've been really... Like, it honestly feels like he's telling him... I don't think it is, because it feels like he's being genuine, but it almost feels like he's telling Paul something he knows will let him, because he really just wants to be the medical genius that comes along and saves. Like, he wants to be the guy, because he knows, I will go the extra mile. And my doctor friends may, but I'm more invested in this world. Maybe?
Well, I think it ties into with what he says at the end. I'm staying with Saru because I've been in a world trapped by myself. No one deserves that. Not you, not Sukal. So I'm going to be here for you guys. So he knows that this kid's been alone his whole life. I think that's why he's going down there, because he was trapped alone in the
Yeah.
mycelial
Yeah.
network. I
Yeah.
think that's what they're going for. So
Yeah, he was telling Paul something he knew would get him off the hook, but really it's for a different reason. Okay. It's
yeah,
all kind of
as soon as he,
interwoven, but yeah. Okay.
as soon as he said to Paul, like, because Paul says you can't go, and as soon as he says to Paul, I have to do this for me. Paul's the look on of resignation on his face was like, ah, fuck,
Yep.
I can't. I've lost him once. I don't want to lose him again. So I understand Paul's hesitation, but
okay,
it's actually a pretty well played scene. So,
but once you think about it more,
yes,
doesn't work on the surface, deepens down. As maybe the next scene does or doesn't work too, as we get the Tilly and future Captain Burnham scene, which is I like the concept, and again I wish this was the season 1 Burnham, because damn,
yeah,
but it
Burr is not.
Okay, straight back.
Burr is not. Yes, I want to tell you something. A burr is not what they show. They show a full-on goddamn button imperfection, like a burr is just a little piece of like unsanded metal. I don't know what the hell that was, and the fact that it's on every captain's chair, kind of dumb. But anyway, it's a nice little story.
This feels like just on the episode it's in. This episode is more complicated. This felt too grounded and simple. You know what I mean? It kind of stopped the episode dead in its tracks.
Yeah,
it should have been.
What
like
are captain's chairs made of? What are captain's chairs made of? Plastic? Because you assume some future technology or substance like titanium or something, or trilithium or fucking something. I don't know. But for her to have worn that down to a dent when it's that bloody big, she must have been like rubbing on it all the time
every day. Yeah,
exercising those fingers for whatever reason. I don't know. Because it wouldn't wear down that fast. She must have been in command of that ship for 25 years, which maybe she was. I don't know. Sorry, that's just a pet peeve. This is a pretty good scene. I like the little Tilly moments here. Tilly and Burnham.
It's just.
I think it works.
It's just for me. The whole Tilly thing is they ignored it in season 2 almost entirely. I know they've had 3 reboots. But if they basically are saying this is the season 1 Tilly, but without any Asperger's, it's like, okay. So she wants to be a captain again, but she's no longer any of the social awkwardness. So now she's going to be a captain, even though she's too young. It's just they haven't earned this, and they're jumping right to where they originally thought they were going to go, and it doesn't feel appropriate. They could easily make it feel appropriate, they just don't. It's weird. They want to go to a place. But Matthew DeFrita says, Samuel, did you see that your CG the Roman War fan film got a good review on TrickMovie.com? Trick has even got a name drop. Yes, I don't know if you saw the review.
Not.
They never do fan films. That was quite surprising, and they called me like a well-known in the Trek community name, and Trekyards being a well-respected show, capital T, capital Y. But a glowing review considering, like it was and Trek movies, like, they don't do fan films. So that's really really nice to see.
Nice. Samu Ray puts in $2. Absolutely everything about this episode was mindless and awful. I disagree.
Yep.
But had a good smattering of both awful and good, so it kind of equals out in my opinion. But that's okay. 200 likes, sweet.
Oh, sweet.
Can we hit 250? 50 more people. We're at 180 people here, so should be doable.
So they spore into a less radiation zone, and this random lady extra gets lines when none of the bridge crew get lines, and it frustrates me because she's a nobody, and we have bridge crew for this. Boo. She's fine and everything, but it's like, what? And yes, they have minutes because the shields are going down, which I like that they can't stay in there even a minute, you know? God ship Discovery, which now has a cloaking device, is still limited. Good.
Find out they have radiation meters. They need to keep an eye on those. They've taken meds, but they got to get out of there in 4 hours. So they'll be fine. and the shields will repair in 3 hours. So the plan is for them to go down, spore jump the ship out. Tilly will make sure that the shields get repaired, and then spore jump back in to get them. And great plan, good idea. And then we get the reaction shot of they beam out. Chili sits in the chair, and you get the Reese reaction shot with the Delta, which I don't know if you have there or not, but
look, it's Reese from the past. Here he is. Thank God they didn't change the bridge design at all, otherwise that would be even worse to use.
Well, actually, I think the displays are all wrong.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not. Oh yeah, there's supposed to be like orange nebula things.
Yeah.
And there's not, but.
And they could have CGI'd the logo or just cropped it up. I mean, it's no worse than using, shots of a Klingon bird of prey destroying on the inside but reversing the footage. It's like, but that took 45 cents to film, and that took several $1,000s to make. So you can understand why I want to reuse it.
Yeah.
But
Oh, go ahead.
But I do, even though I don't agree with Tilly jumping this far forward, if you ignore the illogicalness, it's a nice moment. Like if she's a lieutenant, or if she was like, if this was the Arium actress, this would feel more appropriate. It's like, hey, you did it, Yeah. But it's nice, and she definitely does play it as the everyone likes her captain. Like she's not there because she's talented; she's there because everyone likes her. And it's like, oh yeah, you'd be great because you're a nice person, and But it feels like a nice little team unit here, and she feels comfortable in this chair, which is nice.
Now, I don't know if you want to show the burr, but it's obviously just a stuck-on thing, which is like we came up with this idea. Let's put it there, which I guess is fine, but it does not look like a manufacturing flaw at all.
Yeah, and like enhanced that before. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
They could just 3D print a new version of this arm.
With a little bump in it, like it's just wasn't milled off properly or whatever. But no, that's a full-on something stuck on.
And remember, this is a totally different bridge chair to the Shinjo. So two radically different bridge chairs built decades apart, the exact same fault on the exact same side.
So all of the captain's chairs would have that.
On two,
we saw the ones built at Utopia Planitia anyway.
I mean, it's a nonsensical idea. Like
it's a fun, nice little touchstone, if you will, for confidence building.
But it should have been the same chair as Shinjo. Then
it'd be funny if we find out later that Michael put it there. She stuck it on.
No, that's good. That's
as a story.
That's the payoff. That is the
would
payoff.
Work.
That would
to build your confidence. Say there's that.
Nope. There you go. You've worked that out. That's the payoff to that.
Yeah. Samu Ray though throws in another $5. Thank you. Burn gimmick was like season 2 signals. Get attention. Weak, stupid payoff when the time to reveal. Genetic connection to space-time because of radiation.
Maybe.
Stupid. It's what it feels like so far.
But we haven't got there to fully commit to that yet, though. That's the thing. Yeah. Then we get, I think, a lovely little moment where Red Riding Hood beams in, and as an audience,
and the realization, like,
we're not Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite little scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. You're Bajoran. But yeah, and then where's Saru? And you see the feet, and my heels touching the ground. It's like, oh, that's pretty awesome to see that. I thought that was nice, because I don't know how many he's been in where he's actually played himself, like without makeup, without prosthetics. I don't think much of anything.
No, not much of anything. This is one of my favorite scenes, just because the three of them, because of like we've said now, the new acting ability, the new way they write Burnham allows her to integrate with the crew a ton better and not feel like too superior, too knowing, very sort of equal. And Colbert has a lot of refinement this year with how he's just sharper, and Saru feels more commanding and less like a demure. So all three of them are the best they've been. As we put the three together, actually feels like quite a balanced trio. I think you've even said before, kind of like the Bones, McCoy, and Spock. Like these three are probably the strongest three characters on the show currently,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually good together. You wouldn't expect
Mm-hmm.
that, but they're actually quite strong together.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what I like most about them being these different aliens is that it doesn't mean anything, but it is detail. It doesn't lead to anything yet. It doesn't like she's not a Trill. He's not actually a Bajoran. It's purely a holographic disguise. Just like you could go to holodeck in TNG and the computer puts clothes on you. It's not as authentic as real clothes if you rip them out and do them yourself, but it's an added of detail. And it's just fun. It's effort, you know. I liked it.
Yeah. Stephen W. Fathry, though, throws in $5.
Even again.
On the Text Trek live stream, we theorized that Saru missed the Shenzhou's middle burr, so he added one to the disco captain's chair. No. With the explanation that Burnham gave, where that's design flaw and all that, I very much disagree with that. It's just...
But I think that's a great idea. Sorry putting that. I think that's probably quite a nice touch.
Yeah.
Because it's such an added-on piece. Yeah, that's nice, actually.
James McGill, $5. This episode wasn't among the best of the season 3, but it did feel like it was setting up for the next episode or two. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like the next two are probably all connected to this one. It's a 3-part kind of thing, which we'll have to see how that plays out. But as its own, it's a little bit. There's some questions. But yeah. So they determined they're not on the planet's surface, so they must be on the ship, because if they were on the planet's surface, they'd be dying gruesomely by this point, which was a nice touch. So Saru tries deactivating the holodeck program by saying end program in Kelpian, and even emergency canceling. And he's like, that might have been a little too much to hope for. But it was a nice touch.
It's very procedural and very logical. Yeah. And I like the way they're dressed. I like the location. Like, I just like the vibe here. And obviously the fact that we got the answer, it's a holodeck. It's not a hallucination. It's not a Trill vision. It's a holodeck. We understand that as Trek audiences, and we understand that could lead to fun things. So I think I was like, okay, cool, and it's definitely different. And it isn't, and they don't just cut straight to the destroyed stuff. It's a nice, like, open visual, which I like for sure.
And James McGill throws in $5. This episode wasn't among the best of season. Oh, I read that already. Never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Then we get the glitching program teaching him about replicators and how to fix a replicator.
And this is obviously a confusing one, because she's wearing a TNG badge, I believe, and yet she's wearing a clearly future uniform, and she's wearing...
But is it future? It looks a lot like the Discovery uniform, especially the shoulder parts.
Wait, it's also got a patch. I mean, it's clearly a training person, but it's got... I mean, I'm guessing it's just a broken unit, because they've got Picard era comm badge pips. They've got TNG comm badge, but it's a metal and not a resin, which is not what they do for any of them. That's a distinct choice. She's actually got a patch, which is very Enterprise. So I think this is meant to be a fun, like, glitch one.
Maybe.
Because it's such a weird... Like, the Delta hasn't got a split in it, so it's not Discovery era. It's a TOS Delta.
Yeah, it's very patchwork, isn't it?
But I actually quite like it. Like, for what it's worth, it's actually kind of cool. Like, it's not obviously like a standard uniform look. Like, I wouldn't want this to be the new uniform. And clearly they're all wearing custom outside clothes. But it was weird to see, like, a TNG badge. And Picard
I didn't even notice that, to be honest.
Oh, so to me like a sore thumb, like, whoa, what are you doing here, team?
Well, 125 years of radiation has been affecting the program. That's why it's glitchy. But they're surprised it's even working at all at this point.
And I do wish, to be fair, that we did see, like, in Insurrection, that kind of hollow, disturbance. Because the ship is clearly fully functioning.
I think you do, kind of. When they move towards the thing, there's like the rock face, but there's also like a honeycomb grid pattern almost.
Is there?
But I think it might be. It's supposed to look like it's supposed to be the ruins. I think.
Yeah, I think that's the ruins.
But it definitely feels like it looks too. I don't know.
But you know what I mean. I know it would have been more expensive, but I don't quite buy. I mean, I'm fine with it. But to say the thing is degrading, but it's only the interior programs, because that implies the computer is degrading, but the computer also generates it all. But it's still got full power, full life support, full shields, full gravity, and yet only some programs are degrading. You know what I mean? It's a bit of an inconsistent one. So it would have been kind of nice if they'd a bit more visible, like, this isn't working. Or we see, like, one wall, like, say, a hollow grid. Although we don't know what hollow grid looks like in the future, in this current timeline. But yeah.
Yeah, so they go into the ruins and their clothes change again. And we see some flying. Is it Gormagander? I don't know. In the sky.
In one of the later shots, it looks very similar to the Picard planet flower things. Like very
Yeah,
similar.
somebody compared the two, and I didn't even think of that until after.
Yeah.
And then I watched it afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
And I did think the CGI, because also on a blue screen or a green screen, but the way the camera goes in on them and looks down is seamless. Very, very good digital integration there. I thought that was very well done.
Yeah. BJ Turan throws in $2.
Thank you.
More Ontario in winter. Night location shot. Probably, yeah. Danny Shields, €5. Let's get to 250 likes, folks.
Yes.
It's Christmas. We have 210, so I only need another 40 people to hit that like button, but we have 285 people here, so easily doable. Hit that like button if you are one of the people that hasn't yet. We'd appreciate that.
And Devereaux makes a point that I'll jump off of. Saru, when he stands on the on a pillar and looks down, and says, "Oh, is this what human is to have the going heart?"
Are most humans afraid of heights?
Yeah.
Because
the thing is, he's got a visible shield over him of looking like a human. He's not being made a human, so it's weird for him to say he's. So I'm assuming then that because this is mega future holodeck technology, it actually can change how your brain reacts to stimuli.
Your physical responses, yeah, maybe.
Which I'm not against. It's pretty radical, but if you want to play a Klingon, maybe you want to feel like a Klingon, because that doesn't make sense for 24th century. It doesn't do that. It's not. He wouldn't be feeling that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But was a really interesting tease, because that could. I mean, talk about holodeck episodes being different in the future. If you can actually feel, and be, that has some real possibilities. Oy.
Sam, you're right. $2. What's the lifespan of Kelpians? Burn was 120 years ago. Yeah, we don't know the lifespan of Kelpians, and even later, Cobra asks, how'd you keep them alive for 120 years? And it's like education, life support, and I forget what else the program said, but it's not like it's very unexpected by everybody's reaction. It's kind of like, okay, he's fine. He's fine to be alive. So
I mean, it was never even remotely stated. So it's one of those things, But also remember, this is not only well into the future, but this is hundreds of generations past the loss of the Vihari. So how will then having kids that are now older, just their life cycle will be different now after being culled. So I'm fine with it, kind of. But yeah, certainly looks a bit too young. But that will be part of the story, I'm sure. That they're leading up to stuff,
Yeah. But then they see the door and how looks like nobody wants to open or that door to open. Then we get the protection glyphs, I guess.
Which I thought was a bit reaching. Them saying, "I think it's a ceremony,
some kind of ritual."
It's it's rocks on a pillar. Where are you getting that from? I know she's meant to be that's sort of one of her specialities. That was a little bit of a stretch, but we've got to get through the story. That's okay. Bit of a stretch.
Yeah. But then they run into.
Isn't Kolber's jacket amazing? This is a great jacket.
Yes, it is.
And it's great in it. And he suits a Bajoran. I'm just saying.
I disagree. I don't like his nose. I don't like his nose like that. It just totally changes the way he looks.
I like it. And doesn't Saru just look great as a human? He should be. He should be human makeup more often.
It'd be cool if the actor was actually human. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But hey, makeup, you do everything these days. But yes, then they meet
Freddy Krueger.
Dude.
It's Freddy Krueger, man. It's just that's all I see when I look at this guy. But he's obviously. What program are you from? And we're from the outside. But yeah, he basically gets kind of startled that they're there and takes off. So and that's when the door flies open. And apparently, Burnham deduces that the door got unlocked from the other side when he got concerned or startled. So he's in control of what's going on here, and they've only detected one life sign. So whatever's behind that door is also part of the program. So,
and it's a decent procedural, and this is definitely a second watch thing, because only in the second watch you can tell in the editing that every single thing directly links to the to what he says then happens with the door. Like it is a 1-for-1. So yeah, and we were talking yesterday about why he didn't cause more burns, etc. But I think the context is clear. This door's been closed for years because he hasn't been challenged for years. And only is it causing a problem now that they're causing a problem, is making him remember. So I think it works fine. I think it's fine. Although it definitely feels weird for Burnham to be like, I'll stay and deal with it. And we're like, what?
That's the best thing to do. Split up. I'll make sure it doesn't come through. You guys go look for him. It's like, that's the best fucking idea you can come up with right now.
Unknown life form, no tech. Although to be fair, she has technically got a phaser on her. It would have been kind of cool if she kind of grabbed a phaser that she didn't, shot it without seeing it. That would have been kind of silly. Now I know she knows like Vulcan Jiu-Jitsu, but then she runs really quickly. Like they basically had nothing for her to do between this scene and the scene where she talks to him. So they said, let's just write something, because it's not very Burnham-y, but I like the fact that she's not the one solving the problem either. It's refreshing. Like, it does feel like she's the secondary in this story, and that's kind of great. Saru and Thingy, like it's a weirdly balanced one, but it kind of works. But she feels oddly lackluster in some of these scenes.
Danny Shields, €5. The monster is the mother somehow. I'm not sure how, but I'm betting on it.
He locked his mum behind a door? Oh no.
That's a holodeck programming fail, because his mom made this holodeck program. So I was wondering why there was no holo of his mom. Like that, you think that'd be the most reassuring thing? But...
Well, no, he does say, and again, there's some slight confusion about when, where, how, and who. But he does say he goes to the old. He went to the old kelp farms, and he played with his family. And if he's 4, is he gonna remember when he's 4, or were there holograms of his family still until they were broken? So I kind of got the sense there were holos of his entire family, and they went off one at a time.
I would make sure that when I died, there would still be a hologram of me explaining about death and all that to reassure him, because he's alone. So why would you have him surrounded by strangers in a program?
No, I'm assuming they deactivate. I'm assuming they broke too.
Maybe
having your kelp. By the same logic, wouldn't you keep your Kelpian program alive most rather than a destroyed monastery? So I just think it's just time. Most things don't work. So. Which actually be quite poignant then, if he was dealing with Hollow Mum until he was 50, and then she said 80 years alone. That's sad,
Yeah. I'm back on Discovery. They're scrambling to get the shields up. They're only up to 40%, and they hear a growl. Something is after them on the planet, but they can't.
It was a growl, was it? Oh, I didn't even. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I said, Bridge, did you hear that? Yeah, we heard that as well. So then they pick up a ship approaching, and it's a Federation ship. And they're like, what? Shouldn't be one here. So they scan for Class M planets.
Yes.
Well, first they hail it. There's no response, but they get the correct response code sent. And they're 10 minutes away. They scan for the planet later. But,
and that's real close, by the way. That's next door. And I do love the, again, procedural of, we're in a really bad part of space, but maybe they've been here for 100 years. They're obviously they've not given any clarification of where anyone is, so it's kind of hard to judge. But in the context, this is pretty damn far away, and so the ship had to be stuck here because of the burn, and maybe they detected us somehow. So it kind of works.
Yeah, and Hezraz says, Trekyards, the mom probably thought the rescue would come in a few months at most. I'm assuming the burn occurred after the mom died. Yes, I believe so. Because I said the burn probably happened when the kid was 4 or 5. I think the mom's death is probably what initiated the burn. Yeah.
That's my big, because it's enough of a reason. I think that's a good, cinematic thing.
We see how he reacts to the creature and any kind of violent emotion, or not violent emotion, but extreme emotion.
And,
so that would definitely do it.
and multiple people are saying the monster is actually him or a manifestation. He's just a hologram, though. Like, I don't think there's like this isn't a hallucinative based thing. This is purely holographic. So it is a program, but it's a corrupted program as the whole thing has been corrupted, etc., etc. So you know, it's a literal creature that is, I guess, probably linked to his biosigns in some regard, like, because again, tech, but you know, I don't think it's like a separate him, etc.
Yeah, the list of Jericho. Why is Tilly waiting here? She could spore anywhere. That's a very good question. One might think because they can scan and still see what's going on that close.
Why would you not
communicate? Well, there's no sense to wait there with the spore drive. You could definitely go anywhere.
But what if the spore drive fails when you're at Starfleet Command, and then you can't get
exactly. You still can't get in there though. Your ship wouldn't survive the journey in anyway with the shields up. No, they'd be taken down.
Yeah, but you'd still, because at least you can't hail them from Starfleet Command.
But you can, because Vance was talking to them via hologram.
But not
from
through
Starfleet
the nebula,
Command.
though. I would be fine to say that you then can't penetrate the nebula. Because that was through two.
That
was two high-end receivers: Discovery, First Century Technology, and Starfleet Command HQ, rather than through a massive nebula. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but I can see that being a good explanation why, but it's still kind of silly.
I mean, she should have spored away as soon as the ship arrived. In a minute.
Yep.
That's fine, but waiting for him is fine. Like, there's no reason not to stay there.
Spore to the other side of the nebula. It's going to take them a while to.
Yeah. But or spore to her home planet. Spore to Orion and start. You know. Hey, we're doing exercise above Orion. Transport here if you want to. Oh no, 50-50, you blew up. Oh no, what a shame.
Danny Shields, €5. Based on his interaction with Burnham, he has been altering the program when it conflicts with his comfort zone, altering it to avoid facing reality. Yes. Yes, this is true. It's very true. I mean, not altering it, just resetting it. Yeah, resetting the parameters.
I don't get the sense he was given any sort of notion of how to actually control it. Beyond like those simple things. Like, he's not saying, computer, create a 6-foot-tall Kelpian with large breasts. Excellent, you know. It's more just reacting in certain ways. Although once now Tilly's in command, I like her style here. It's you know, softly informative. Like, she's using her science brain rather than her commanding brain. But in this situation, she's working things out. Although I think it's quite obvious it's not Starfleet, but that's okay.
Yeah. Joshua Stearns, $5.
Thank you.
The whole holodeck part feels M. Night Shyamalan-esque to me. Look out for the twist ending. Yeah.
It's a Trek trope and done a slightly different way. So yep. I'm gonna give it a pass. But
yes,
Stuart,
a good pass. It's good to see.
What we were throwing another Trekyards bone. My God, new uniforms. Wow.
Yep.
Another goddamn uniform. They can't help it this year. We have more uniforms in the last 5 years than we have in the last 20.
Well, the reenacting with the Federation is honored to welcome the Kelpian and Baul Alliance.
Yes.
As the newest members of the United Federation of Planet. So this is the day that Kaminar officially joined. Good for you to see it, Saru.
And I will say the clapping is cute as all hell. And the way they play it.
I just love the responses. Who are you? Response yes or no. Because that's how a computer program works, right? You get the input. It's got 2 options or whatever, 3 options. I thought it was great. And later when they say, "Are you here to rescue the child?" If the response is no, activate whatever. Yes, we're here to yes. That was really well done. And I thought that was fun.
The guy reminds me of the Vulcan from season 1, but friendlier. I thought that was a great choice. Didn't need to be Vulcan, but a nice bit of detail.
I wish Burnham would have been turned into a Vulcan instead of a Trill. That would have been so apropos.
Would have been funny. See, I was kind of thinking the opposite of a Klingon. One of them be a Klingon, but like a proper Klingon would have been kind of fun. Can you imagine Sorry being a Klingon, but like a real one?
A real Klingon. I don't know what you are. We don't have a tricorder to scan him. What is he? He doesn't look like anything we've seen before.
Oh my God, Toto Riemann. There's a bat. But yes, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna look at this uniform. Normally we do our first reactions of this stuff before we do the live review. Although the only thing I'll say right now is I get taken out of it because they're wearing Battlestar Galactica rank pips. Since I own some and they're extremely close, it distracts me a bit.
Oh wow.
They're like, but yeah.
Where is it here? Somebody asked.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it? Oh, Great Nemesis says, why didn't Discovery just tractor the ship out of the nebula? Because of the ion storms or the ionizing radiation storms that were affecting the shields. It was quite far in. They couldn't just tractor it out.
Well, the implication is it's crashed on the planet. I'm sure the radiation gets worse the closer you get to the planet at a certain point. Yeah. And what if it probably hasn't got structural integrity? Do you really want to rock the boat, as it were? What if it dislodging it destroys it? And besides, you can't... Like, we didn't know we could spore another ship anyway. That was already a massive retcon. But sporing while tractor beaming is too far. It's an energy beam with an energy beam. I don't buy that. So it would have taken way too long. You know, that said... Book didn't die, and so you could probably easily argue they didn't die. They wouldn't die, but certainly, yeah. I wouldn't even thought that.
And James McGill says none of my super chats are getting through. Okay. I don't think I've seen anything from you. Oh yeah, we read your $5 one. The episode is one of the best of season 3, but it felt like it was setting up for the next episode or two. Yeah, we read those. They're coming through, James.
Stuart's well trained at this point.
I might miss one or two here and there, but yeah.
But then let us know, yeah, as you did.
Oi, governor, puts in £2. Good one, Tilly. You have the ship 5 minutes and lose it.
Well, 20 minutes. I mean,
and she did a pretty good job, considering.
Well, until the last scene.
Kai Al... Well, there's nothing she could do at that point.
No, I know, but she done something.
Kai Al Wong, £10. Haven't been watching your channel long, but would like to thank you and keep up the great content and discussions. Well, thank you very much. We've seen your name pop up quite a few times. We appreciate you joining the community and chatting with us. So thank you very much.
And hopefully you agree we're a nice and balanced channel. Although I don't think the haters have quite had much fuel this year. I certainly haven't felt that from anything I've seen. But yeah, balanced as we are. And I appreciate people noting that, yes, I like the fact that they threw in the Ba'ul and Kelpians working together. Like, there was no separation. It was just, they both live together. Well, yeah. I like that. It was a nice touch. It wasn't, it worked, guys. It worked.
Yeah. And Samu Ray puts in $5. Notice how Patrick Kwok got less lines in 3 seasons than one Harry Kim episode of Voyager. I assume that's the guy that plays Reese.
Yes.
I don't know who that is. So telling me actors' names for these people that I don't even know their character names except for just first or last names.
Lieutenant Jen Reese. Been 32 episodes so far.
Has he though? Tangerine Star 26, £2. Wait, new uniforms here, but none for Discovery's crew. I know. Don't get us started on that bullshit. Anyway, yes. So they've been waiting 125 years, 3 months, 17 days, 4 hours for these guys to arrive. And Colbert says, how did you keep him alive for 125 years? Executed protocols include life support, education, preparation for arrival of anticipated input, which of course is the rescuers. So this was actually very well done. I did like that. Colbert even asked, does he take medicine? Were his genes...
See, that's the setup right there. That's the first setup.
Epigenetically altered in utero.
Yep.
No real answer there.
No, but he's right.
This is where we get the explanation of why they look different, because their appearance was altered to not startle the child or frighten them.
And I appreciate they gave that. I didn't have to explain that. It could have just been a malfunction. I appreciate a nice, simple explanation. You know?
Yeah. And here's the line: are you the anticipated input? If no, then initiate defense protocols. Yes, we're the anticipated input. We have come to rescue the child. Where's Grogu? Yes, the applause was nice.
And Saru's face.
Even Saru put his chin up like.
I'll enjoy it for a second. Yeah, holograms are clapping me. It was lovely. This is probably the funnest little scene because it was very Star Trek and very and the uniforms are nice. Well, they're okay.
Talk to people. I'll be right back and started.
Okay. But I just wanted to quickly address one thing. Fant King says, as someone with Asperger's, Tilly does not have Asperger's. It's not even been hinted at. or Fankin. I also have Asperger's, as does my dad, and so I've lived with it my entire life, both of our forms, and I definitely see Asperger's in her. From the first 2 or 3 episodes, it's clearly her initial trait, and then it was been dropped. So I also have Asperger's, and I absolutely saw it in her at the start. So there you go. Hi guys, that's Tuvok from Voyager. No, it's not, but yes, they look quite similar. Let's have a look. Great Nemesis, only 4 out of 10. Interesting. Oh yeah, Jericho should have asked him to have holograms. That's interesting. Good on that. Could have done that. 289 people. I would love to see 250 likes before Stuart comes back. Come on, can we do it? Can we do it? I think we can. The actor playing Sukal is 70. No, he's not. Is he really? I don't buy that for a second. Slash, really? That's impressive if he is. Okay, let me find the guy's name. Let's see. Sukal, played by Bill Irwin.
I'm back, and it's time for Scary Thing.
So, yeah, someone had an incredible comment that I am blown away by. The actor that plays Sukal, would you
Chris
like...
Isaac.
Would you like to guess his age based on his performance?
54.
Oh, he's 70.
Wow, didn't expect that.
I mean, I talk about harnessing a childlike performance at 70. Holy shit.
Damn.
That's shocking. I mean, I was a 30-year-old, like, fine. Wow. That's impressive as all hell.
The Ronin throws in $5 with no comment, but thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so now we get Burnham trying to fend off whatever came through the door
with a
rock. And then when she sees it, she's like, she's not scared of it. It's almost like she wants to initiate contact with it, but it's the scariest, most evil fucking thing you'd ever seen in your life. And I would be terrified. What was she going to hit? Like a poor Kelpian that came through the door or something? But this is fine to talk to? Like, I don't understand. Whatever.
The rock was unnecessary. It makes her look as if she's not prepared. Like, all she had to do was, like, have her body ready with, a fighting stance, with a Vulcan fighting stance. Yeah, the rock was daft. I felt this scene was written extra as a way of introducing the creature. It doesn't quite fit the whole episode. And even the set feels random. It's like, why has it been locked in a sort of diner? It just feels a little bit disconnected. But yeah, the design for the alien or the creature is great. Once you know, again, second time watching, once you know it's in the water, you can even hear water sound effects as it moves. Yep. It's a nice touch. I mean, it's more ghostly than kelpy, but it's still a.
It could be the malfunctioning program though as well.
No, it would be hard to make CGI water fall onto the floor in every scene. So it works. Yeah. It works fine. It's a good design, and it's elegant in its own way.
And somebody pointed out it looks very much like the Baul, just without all the tarry gunk over top of it.
Yes, I thought that too. It's definitely Baul reference.
Especially later when it's at the top of the stairs, you can see it's like human form. Yep.
Nope.
And it's like, yeah.
And considering this is a Saru known myth that precedes them being friends, so I could absolutely see, this being, they influence the design of some of the older myths to help have control in case you ever saw a Baul. So it's a Baul plus kelp. Yeah, I think that's actually really, really good. Will work well. But it would have been disappointing if it was just a Baul, that shitty tar monster. So this is much, much better. And God, if this had been the Baul, wow, that'd have been cool.
Oh yeah.
And then you're like, is his life force being kept by technology? What is happening? Don't know.
Yeah.
That'd have been great.
Well, I think it's terrifying. This is a step of nightmares as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, you're really into this, aren't you?
Yeah. The way it moves, everything about it is just terrifying.
I just see it as a cool CGI effect, honestly. Like, in a good way.
Yeah. Cornelius Iron throws in $2. It's a Speed Force demon.
And yes, you're right. There is one beautifully clear still. And it does look different in different ways you see it. The way it hides itself with the kelp, it does look... Because that is way more human-y.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, there's a definitely a scene later where it goes to the top of the stairs that looks very human-esque.
I will say I don't like the run and chase bit. The way she runs off is very inorganic, and even the way she's running, I guess there's very small amount of set, and it's probably green screen as well, part of it. But it doesn't feel very good.
Yeah.
And then the way she falls off a thing, gets pulled up. It's like they had to rewrite the middle because they didn't like how it just doesn't. It's very Alice in Wonderland, though. It's a holodeck. You can't just have gravity reinvert for no reason. Why is she being pulled to talk to him? There's no reason for this. It doesn't connect.
It's like it's like a dreamscape, like you said earlier, and
Yes.
that's what
Yep.
ties it in again with the Freddy Krueger vibe for me.
Yep.
It seems so like dreamlike.
But that's not the way that's not the way the holodeck would work. So it kind of plays both sides of the fence. You know?
No, it's a future holodeck. All it takes is to fall off a thing, have a tractor beam pull you up, then reorient the room. It's fine.
It just feels a bit off compared to everything else. Like we're doing throw something random in, it doesn't quite connect. And that's all.
Danny Shields, €5. Bill Irwin is to call. Doug Jones brought him in. A meme legend. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but the way it even chases her with the pulling itself along was very well done, I think.
I just don't like the chase itself. Like the framing wasn't very good and whatever. But whatever. Moving on.
So this is where they're scanning now. They're back on Discovery. They're scanning for Class M planets within 5 light years because they're trying to figure out if this is a Federation ship. Because book says, I'd have set a course for a new home ages ago. Me too. So scan it again, but this time don't scan the ship. Scan around the ship.
Yep.
And then neutrino emissions are off the charts. That's because it's not a Federation ship. And that's when her ship shows up. And it looks a lot different than it did last time. I know she says that she fixed the little design flaw that they took advantage of last time, but it's a much different looking ship in my opinion.
It's just the angles, but she clearly added stuff to it. It's more detailed. I don't think it looks any better, but we haven't really seen it properly. But
and then they're like, how the hell did she even get here? Well, there's transwarp tunnels on the courier maps, but no one in their right mind would actually use it. Again, it's that 50-50 transwarp thing. Like, what's in the transwarp corridors that is... Are they... I don't understand.
It's confusing. Although, briefly, SC Scout Guy says he's on day 4 of COVID. So far, 0 symptoms and feeling fine. So, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hope you do well. As you are.
Yes. Danny Shields, €5. The holodeck works whatever way the parameters of the program dictate, surely. Yes.
And it's obviously broken because of the years. It's just that we haven't seen any sort of Alice in Wonderland things are flying like that. Like, there's been no gravity. It's just random for the sake of getting her from A to B. You know? There isn't an organic swap. It just stands out as being a bit more silly. But yes, the ship comes in. I like the procedural nature there.
And then the cloak. We have a cloak, right? After the retrofit? Yep. First time we've heard of it, but...
Oh, and the shuttle bay door is open. Good. Glad we worked that out.
And they cloak, and Osiris' ship, for some reason, cloaks at the exact same time, which confused me to no end, but that's okay. But we can't jump while cloaked. Again, we have to have limitations. Why can't you jump while cloaked? Yet later you can jump when there's another ship attached to you and take the ship with you. That seems more nonsensical than being able to jump while cloaked. Right?
Tentacles, man, they make everything possible. Now, what do you think of the absolutely out-of-the-blue cloaking device?
I thought I was fine with it. I just wish it would have been mentioned sooner. I think it's good future tech. Who cares about the Treaty of Alderaan at this point? Romulus is destroyed. They're part of the Tavar now, so whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, I actually kind of liked they both cloaked. There was a certain symmetry of, we have that tech too, bitch.
Yeah, but there was no cloak. It was, they both started cloaking at the exact same time. It just didn't work for me. The timing should have been delayed a little bit.
No, you're right. Yeah, it does stand out. Although the cloak effect looked good. Like, I liked much better than Discovery Season 1 fire cloak bullshit. It was just nice, very symmetry, clean, simple. But then, as Pill said, the ship's already the most powerful ship ever in Star Trek, and now it can cloak. Like, this is absolutely the most powerful ship ever created in Star Trek history ever. It can do everything, you know?
Yeah.
Oh dear. But that's fun. I mean, sure, why not?
Then we get Michael pretending to be a program, and I like this a lot. You are a programmer, are you not? And he's like so excited. I knew it. Which one? Let me guess. Combat, survival skills. I did not think I would find anything new. And then she acts. I love how she plays this. She's there to teach the dynamics of social interaction. Why? Yeah. Anyway,
It's good.
yeah, it's very well done and very well acted. But again, I just seeing him, looking at him, it's Freddy Krueger, man.
Yeah, I was surprised the acting here because she's not being Burnham, so it is Cinquemar Green being someone completely different. You know, I like the different take, and it gets better. This part is fine. The next part of it is much better, but I like the setup here. Although, how did she get here? Why is he there? There's no reason for this. It just is. You know. It's like when at the end they pop through one door and they happen to be through the one door that finds the one room with Burnham next to the door. Stupid, because it's a holodeck. It's not, you know, it's not a fictional reality that lets people interconnect. It's a holodeck that exists in this, you know. So it plays both sides of the Outer Wonderland. It's all a fiction and it's all a holodeck. Well, they aren't quite the same thing. So, but it's very little. Like it doesn't quite work, but whatever, fine. Yeah.
Yeah. He asked here too, was the other hollow the human? Was that part of your program as well?
Yeah.
Why do you ask? Because he was unexpected. He said he was from outside. I have not heard that teaching in a long time. There used to be lots of hollows who talked about outside. But I feel that the outside never came inside. The outside is probably dead by now. So your program is outdated and not, you know. Yeah, you're obsolete.
I didn't like this so much the first time round just because he annoyed me slightly, but the second time round I think it was written better than I go credit for. It's more informative than you think. Like he's not dumb, he just hasn't got social skills and he does know a lot of stuff on specific things. So he's more interesting than I thought. I don't want to see more of him past the next episode, but yeah.
Well, I love how he says you're obsolete. And she's like, then I suppose I should deactivate if you don't want a new connection. No, wait. We can still run the program. I thought that was so cute because it's like, you know, something new, somebody new to talk to.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun little scene.
He played the sincerity beautifully.
Yes.
Because it really is like finding that lost Star Trek episode.
Exactly.
That you've never seen. Oh, hell yes. It may have Kirk with his toupee off. And Spock is, you know, bleeding pink blood. And you're like, this doesn't make sense. But you know what? God damn it. It's new Star Trek.
Yeah. John Chenal throws in $10.
Thank you. Damn.
I didn't like the way they introduced their ability to cloak, but I understand the Treaty of Algernon is definitely obsolete at this point in time. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's probably been 4 or 5 or 6 Algerons at this point. You know, equivalencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Shields, €5. It would have been utterly ridiculous centuries after Vulcan Romulus reunification for the Federation that didn't have cloaking tech as standard. Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, they incorporated so many new, you know, worlds in. There would definitely be that kind of tech. So.
Yeah, 100%. And it's kind of fun to have it be everywhere. Like, it's just, I mean, come on, the tech is, 1,000 years old? 1,500 years old?
Yeah.
Like, it's old tech at this point. You know, almost as old as warp.
Kai L. Wong throws in £10. So thank you very much. How did Green Lady know about the spore drive and how it worked? Yeah, we're going to get into that with our prediction video on Wednesday probably. But who knows? I mean, one of the theories floating around now, because her name's in the IMDb for future episodes, is the person that played Nan, who was on the sea.
I haven't thought that.
Again. Oh, yeah, it could be that she actually is betraying them for some reason, or they used the tech that they used on Stamets to get information from her about the spore drive and how to track it and stuff, because she was head of security for a while. But yeah, we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Still, I never
or they have an inside person.
Never even considered that. That's an interesting idea. The only difference is
It'd be a good way to bring her back.
It will be a sad way to bring her back. But the only problem with that, though, is a small problem, is that she doesn't know what they say when they spore drive. So they know the technical side of spore drive, but not the personal side, and Nan would be on the bridge when the stuff was said. So if she was just,
Yeah, but she would. Nobody knew what to say when they jumped. It was always something different. That was the whole point of the whole
Oh,
engage, do it,
oh, I
whatever
suppose.
thing. He needed to find his own thing.
Okay, I suppose.
Yeah, that's something that would never come up in a
Okay.
technical briefing.
Well, no, but it wasn't though. It would be Nan with a thing over her head, controlling her, saying, "Tell us everything." She just says everything in her brain, so it wouldn't be a technical briefing. It'd be everything. But I like that the
Oh, they,
introduction.
they just ask, "What do you know about this? What do you know about the mode of transportation and the spore drive?" And blah. So
Yeah, but that's actually great because you could also argue that if she feels capable of using transport conduits, then her ability to travel is not limited, which is interesting. Then yes, you could say that if she was able to detect where spore jumps were, then they would know exactly. They would go back to all the spore jumps, and one found the seed ship.
I just thought of something stupid. Oh my god! Remember how I said earlier that what you want is irrelevant when they put the thing on Stamets? How it sounded kind of Borg-like. Imagine if this is modern Borg, and that's why she has the ability to use the transwarp corridors because she's working with some Borg. And if it's a 50-50 chance for most ships, it's not for them because they have more. I don't know. I'm just trying to. You mentioned. I don't know what you mentioned that made me think of that, but anyway. You mentioned the transwarp corridor. Anyway, sorry.
Tricky.
Don't hit me. Snoopy McQueen, $5. Book is a snitch. He is not. So I'm going to kill that right now. Do both of you feel the franchise is going in the right direction? Yes.
Well, I mean, it took a massive dip into a shit, but it's clawing its way out. I mean, Lower Decks was excellent, and this is the best season of Discovery and better than Picard. So it may not be what we want, but it's definitely better, and better is better. You know, so it's like DS9 season 1. Who would have asked for DS9 season 1? Like as a concept, no one really. But once they get into the good stuff, it becomes good, etc. So, but guys, 3 more likes. Come on, 3 more likes. Come on.
3 more likes.
Boom, chicka boom.
Samuel Ray throws in $2. It's short-sighted that they used yet another Kelpian. No, it's not. It's going to be important.
Why are we short-sighted?
I think it was, the fact that it was a science ship of all Kelpians was a little bit stupid. I just wish it was a Federation science ship that had some Kelpians on board.
But to be fair, they didn't say all Kelpians. They never quite said that. They implied it, but didn't actually say it was a full Kelpian crew.
True.
And that would be kind of nice, actually, if it was a multiple crew, then she's and Kelpians can survive longer. And because remember, he's a original Kelpian, so they might actually say that they'll get scans of the mum and say, wow, she was interbred with Ba'ul and other creatures for 900 years. She was able to resist the radiation for 4 years before she died, whereas Saru, who's an earlier version of a Kelpian, can't. Boom. Very easily understandable, you know? Future Kelpian.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of future Kelpian, Stuart, we meet the oldest Kelpian they've ever had to make up, and he actually has hair. Which is weird for a Kelpian. They don't have hair, as far as I remember. And I quite like this guy, although I wish they decided if the holograms either are or aren't functioning, because he's flawless. A little bit inconsistent, but I don't like. Yeah, pick. Although I like his look, I like his acting, I like the book, and I guess it makes sense that the ones that are more personal to him may be surviving longer. Maybe like ancient elder Kelpian man. He's he's a specialist part of the computer core to keep him safe longer, whereas random Federation lady in a forest isn't. So I could see that because he seems fine. But it's good. I mean, these are very Saru scenes. These are very Doug Jones scenes, but they're good. I think they're fine.
Yeah, I definitely like seeing the old Kelpian.
Yeah.
And C and Sir are very happy to see him. Nobody's ever lived to that age, so it's like the oldest Kelpian that he's seen. Then we get the painting that the kid did, and we find out his name is Sukal. And the significance of the name says, well, it doesn't translate directly, but it means something like beloved gift. It is a tradition in Kelpian families that after you have suffered a great tragedy, the next child born in your family is named Sukal. The child symbolizes the end of suffering, which I think is kind of great, actually. So was the tragedy the crash of the ship? Then she gave birth because most of the crew probably got killed. Burn wasn't the tragedy that she was naming the kid after. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting little traditional thing that was really kind of great. And then your kid, whose name's Sukal, is supposed to be the end of the tragedy turns out to be a druggie and goes to prison. And you bastard. The end of suffering, my ass.
I like
Beginning of
it
suffering.
as an
Sorry.
alien thing, although for me the concept falls down because, you know, if the whole planet goes through a problem and now you have 430 whatever his name is, and since they have no surnames, like, what, you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense for one in every generation or one in every village, but you can't have 2,000 of them, so it's a bit of a stupid concept in that, in the simplest regard, you know. It's like naming your child your name, Junior, and then naming 10 generations. It's like, just don't do that. It's not, you know? What do they
But a
call
lot
it?
of people do that. Like Thomas so-and-so the third or whatever.
Yeah, but it's rare because most people
It
don't
is.
do it, you know. So
I think
having,
that would be rare too. That has to be a massive tragedy
but
if
that,
it fall on your family.
oh, that's not what they said though. It felt way more like a thing that's done, you know.
When you have suffered a great tragedy. So yeah.
But that could be just a little loss in the family, or because remember this is, well, I guess he's a future Kelpian, so I was about to say the Kelpian. What's bad to a Kelpian? Our kelp harvest died, but these are future Kelpians, so their scale of what's good and bad is obviously broader. So that would make more sense. So maybe back in the olden, because remember this is his tradition. He knows this tradition, so it's from his past. So I'm guessing, yeah, when he was a Kelpian on his planet, there wasn't many called this way because how many bad things would happen. It was rare. But in the future, it happened more because obviously more things happened. Although this one painting does tell us though that he got to be, you know, shoulder height with people that he knew.
Yeah.
So there were more Kelpians. They definitely like scientists based on the garb, and he did hang out with them longer. They could be hollow versions, which I'm actually fine with.
Yeah.
But this would be interesting, and I think it would be kind of fun if future Kelpians can survive in this radiation for longer. And so they were dying off one by, which is pretty graphic, but you know, whatever. It's Discovery, and he was like the last one because he was then bored into it, and that would explain why he could integrate better, etc.
Yeah. But the old Kelpian says he's programmed to teach Kelpian and Baul history and traditions and to provide social and emotional support.
I thought that was good. I thought that was cool in both. And if Tebron's right, I love it. The guy that played this guy also played Sarah's dad on Kaminar. I recognised him.
Nice.
Brilliant. Perfect.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. So find out that the mom is the one that programmed him, and they find out that yes, she in fact created this to raise her son and protect him until somebody came to rescue him. So that she was responsible for this whole program. Yeah.
Yeah. My only note there was like, duh. That was my only note. They play it off as if the audience isn't already a few steps ahead of them, but whatever. That's fine. You know what I mean?
It's like Future Imperfect.
Yes.
Thing.
Boom.
The
Yes. I thought that at the time. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
100%. I like the guy's hair. He looks like a wise old sensei.
Yeah.
I like the look. And then a good scene with Burnham playing off script, off character. And I like, I have no idea how long this is. This may have been like an hour, 15 minutes, you know, how they might build up a slight connection. And boy, it shifts.
Talking about his family.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about harvesting the carp, and he liked being in the water. He liked the way it smelled. And yes, those are family things. But that part of the program is no longer functional. And she asked, do you remember anything before this? Before? What do you mean? Well, the time before the harvesting environment, when you might have been on a ship, perhaps. And that's where he gets freaked out, and he points at her, and he's like, computer, reset parameters. Again, not going to that uncomfortable spot for him to talk about. She takes the cue, thank God, and hello. And he gets so happy again. You're here to teach me. Like, it was so cute, that part. But then she starts asking about, well, she says her program is unstable at the moment. So she asks about the exit and how everything, a way to turn off the hollow program and reset all parameters. And he freaks out and is like, no, stop it. Why would you do that? I don't like this program. And he takes off, which we find out in a second is to his safe spot, which is his fortress or a citadel, which is what the original episode title was supposed to be. But she notices that the radiation is starting to affect her. Her hand is all damaged. And that leads into the next scene, which talks about the citadel.
I like this scene. I have nothing negative to say. And certainly on second viewing, when everything means more, you understand it all more, it works better. Because the first time you're not quite connected with everything, I don't think as much. But second viewing, it all makes more sense. Yeah, I like
We find out about the kelp monster too here,
it.
and that in order for the program to end and for him as a child and these guys to get out of there, he needs to confront his greatest fear, which is this kelp monster.
Didn't quite understand why, because I don't think 9-year-old him.
I think it's just the holo program misunderstanding the story as being the way for him to move on. It's because it's malfunctioning. It's bleeding the story into real life. That's why the monster actually exists.
Okay.
And so it's like one of those holodeck tropes. In order to end the program, you need to play it through to its conclusion. And in this case, it's
and you could argue that if there's a future holodeck, the fact that what's his name?
Su'Kal.
The fact that Su'Kal has actually made obelisk like monuments around the place. It's him feeding into the program, which if the program's clever enough, it understands. Oh, he thinks this is right. Let's keep going with it. Yeah. Okay. I'll wait.
He's building the totems to protect himself from the monster. So he's not facing it.
Yeah. Although you do get the impetus that he hasn't had to face it for like years and years and years.
Well, yeah, you get the idea that it was behind the door until they showed up.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you released the monster. So
he's just walking around. But then you get the lullaby.
Commander?
No, you don't. Okay.
Sorry. That's okay. Safe Commander, $2. Su'Kal should have been half Kelpie and half Ba'ul. That would have been awesome. And again, we might get the explanation that he's part something else later because he doesn't really. I mean, not all Kelpians look alike, but he looks a little different.
The makeup's thinner. It's more human-y. I think it's going to be half and half, or just he's a future Kelpie and they would feel different. You'd think. That said, obviously we've seen 20th century and they look the same in humans. I mean, but it'd be kind of cool, especially since humans have interbred with lots of species. Kelpians, I would think.
Timothy Moore says, just say the word arch. Well, sorry, we tried that early on. Said exit program, emergency stop program, whatever.
Although someone did comment earlier that they should have asked the Starfleet Admiral guy, as in the internal welcome Kaminar, should have asked him, could you stop the program? Because he obviously had they were able to communicate with them the most out of anybody with a direct link to what's happening. It probably would be a good idea to ask one of the holo programs how they could have helped.
I would agree, but at the same time, he was the most malfunctioning of all the holograms they ran into so far because he was actually saying the parameters and the expected responses and stuff. So maybe, but
I guess
would have been worth
the old guy then.
Yeah, would have been worth it to ask one of them. Yes,
and it would have been nice actually if, as a reference, because you could build a CGI arch in 2 hours. It would have been nice to have an arch appear and then it fade out as it can't sustain itself. So you do get that natural. Yeah, they can make an arch, but that's not gonna work. That'd have been nice. I didn't even think that during. But speaking of didn't think during, again the effect of finding the walkway is impressive because it's a massive scope that we just haven't really had this season, and I think it's very well done. This whole episode has a certain money feel that we haven't had in as many. I don't know if you'd agree with that now, having sort of gone through it again.
Yep. Yeah.
Even though it takes place in destroyed places, there's something about the constant set changes, etc.
Danny Shields, though, €5.
Thank you.
Maybe he's been outside, and it's just filled with the corpses of his family. Oh, that's why he doesn't want to go outside again.
Also good.
That's interesting, yeah. Because we don't know what the ship looks like yet, because we beamed straight into here.
Yep.
So, yeah, if this deactivates and there's just like corpses flying around, that's interesting.
I mean, yeah, there's... like I said, I hope there's layers to this. I really, really, really hope.
Like an onion?
Like an onion! But the thing is that it kind of has to be... Because you can't ignore Doug Jones for a whole episode. And you would expect Burnham not to spend the entire episode traveling to get to Earth. I don't know. We'll get there obviously when we get there. But yeah, I would expect to see a bit more fleshing out, or at least getting back to Starfleet Command and they deal with them a bit more. But yeah, then they...
Oh, then... So Osira wants the spore drive. She's probably been tracking it. A way of scanning their jump signature. That's probably how she found out where they are because she might have got a read on it back at Kwajan.
Oh, well done. Well pronounced.
Yes. So again, they're kind of theorizing as to how she's been able to track them. But again, I think we're going to find out that it's probably Book's device or something. There's a backdoor way in, at least to ping it or something, because it is a communications device.
But they've left it open enough. It could actually be a couple of different alternatives, which is nice.
Absolutely.
It's not like the Mirror Universe or he's Tyler Vock. It's like, yeah, it could be a couple of things. Yeah. Yeah.
But Osira comes on screen and says, "You're not Captain Material."
Is this your favorite set of scenes, Stuart?
Well, yeah, not really.
Okay.
But the way wait till he talks back to her, you didn't expect it really, because she looked kind of like at first. But yeah, of course you put me in charge, damn straight. But I'm kind of busy now, so you could get to the point. And then she goes, "You're not really Captain Material, are you?" "Well, you don't really know me." "Oh, I think I do. Everyone's friend, right? Good with people, team player. But deep down, pretty little heart of yours, you know that you're just a fraud." "How am I doing?" A certain 19th century neurologist would have just said that you've proven the idea of projection. "You tell me I'm a fraud because deep down you feel like a fraud." It's not just a human defense mechanism, it's galactic. Very well done. Anyway.
I did just get a lot of Captain Killy vibes. Like that's her only command experience in the Captain's chair was pretending to be Killy. So I get the sense she's pulling from that. And we just had Mary Wiseman be Captain Killy, so I think she's kind of pulling from that one experience. It's good lines. I wish she was Lieutenant or an older actress or an older character. But I like that she's just... I mean, the thing is, all she's doing is verbally sparring. There's no, like, technological knowledge here, no command experience. It's just like, I'm gonna be a bitch back. And that's good. You know? But that's not like her being commanding. It's just a good, like, verbal parry, you know?
Yeah. It ends with her saying, "You're not getting the ship," essentially. So, and that ends communication, which is good.
Is this the same as "What do you want?" and she gives her the list?
Yes. Hold on, I'll go get the list.
I found that funny on the inside. Just the way it's done is just a little bit funny to me anyway.
Yeah. "What do you want?" "Oh, your ship, your spore drive, and your crew as leverage."
So what?
And then it ends with
everything? What do you mean?
Oh, no.
It's everything.
Oh no, not gonna happen.
It's just such a funny comment. Like, everything. What do you mean, Captain, acting Captain Tilly? All of it. I just love you to separate the three.
I want it all, and I want it now.
Just decloak that ship.
Oi, Governor throws in £2. Maybe he ate the bodies to survive. That's fucking awful. Oi. Now we're back in the Citadel. He's building a little totem to protect himself.
And humming lullaby.
Yes, and Michael Burnham and the other two meet up again, and you see the thing coming down the stairs at him, growling, and
smashes the totem, which is interesting. Didn't think that was. I thought it was gonna be very like, almost like a force field layer and saying "Go, demon," but it's very like, oh, he's gonna lose. I thought that was an unusual version.
Well, that's what makes him freak out and shriek, and then have this like beam resonate, which deactivates the cloak on both ships momentarily. And we find out that has actually almost caused a second burn.
And boy, they just throw that at us like, oh, that almost caused another burn. It's like, what? What? What?
I love how Stamets is like, "Lock down the magnetic constrictors," and Jet's like, "What do you think I'm doing?" Like, that's her line. It's like, I did not expect to see her at all, but
as it has been every time, it's weird to see the non-chief engineer, who has not got responsibilities on the engineering of the ship, who's only the sport technician and pilot, giving orders about the shields which he has no authority or control over. He is a commander, but this is not his job. In a chamber, does not have access to the main controls, or shouldn't do anyway. It's a spore drive room, but it's the one set they have. Basically, they fucked up by not having the main spore room, the main engineering, back in season 1 because of Brian Fuller. That's what happened. Now they're treating it like main engineering. Doesn't quite work. But every time you see it, Stamets shouldn't be this guy. You know, he's giving orders that he shouldn't be giving in a way that he shouldn't be giving them. It's weird. Although I also get the sense, because he says purge the dilithium tray. Does that imply like that's going to be all the dilithium out of the active chain? Now he's down to the other power units. Like he's down to.
Purge the lithium chamber.
That's a big thing to do. That's the
then he
thing to
says,
do, you know?
It's stabilizing the lithium core because it'll cause a chain reaction. So they have to reroute all power. So yes, that's what it seems like.
Which is pretty drastic.
But then they both decloak.
Mhm.
And because Tilly says if it's affecting us, why isn't it affecting them? So they both decloak.
Simultaneously.
She has weapons trained on her. And she says, get in the spore cube. And he's like, you've got to be kidding me. We can't leave them. He's like, I promise we'll come back for them, but just get in the spore cube ready to jump. And yeah, so then we get the second confrontation between the two of them where I found you. Actually, we found each other. Because I love how Osira plays it off like, yeah, we're not affected over here. When clearly they are, but
yeah, but the only thing about these scenes is that it's weird. No one shoots on anyone. There's a slight disconnect or spore away. Like they've got ample chance to do something.
She should have spored away, 100%.
So there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
But they have to wait till Book's ship launches because Book says, "I'll go in and save them," and she says, "Okay, once his ship leaves, let me know immediately." And as soon as he clears the bay, she says, "Black alert."
But you would think they would be moving and shooting to.
Yeah.
And why is the enemy not? I know they say they're not firing torpedoes to destroy them, but they can easily disable them. Like I said, there's a disconnect here, but whatever. Like, it's fine. It's just when Stamets puts his hand in the gel, I'm like, that's your moment. You know, it becomes sadder in retrospect, thinking you actually could have escaped like that. You know, no ifs or buts. There wasn't no like anti-spore radiation. You know, you were good to go. Oi.
Yeah. James McGill puts in $3. Does Discovery crew have any counter-boarding protocols? Probably, but it happens very, very quickly. So.
That's a good question, but they are scientists exclusively.
Yeah.
Like, there's no security team really on the ship. It's not that sort of ship, and they weren't given any new people from the future, which they should have been.
Fleet Pod Swiftback, $2. Tilly's in command. Follow your orders. Tilly's in command. Follow your orders. Bugged me.
Please clarify. Who and which.
But now we're back on the other ship, and Saru is singing the lullaby, which calms down Sukal, and the monster takes off to the top of the stairs, and we get a good shot of it, kind of in its human form. And it does have like arms and legs. It's just basically a humanoid figure with stuff trailing off of it. It's not like this. There's nothing to it, kind of thing. Which you should probably put up a screen cap of because I'm talking about it.
Which one, sorry? I was reading the chat.
The creature at the top of the stairs that looks human. And again, these were the scenes filmed in the old Kingston Penitentiary. You can just tell by the architecture. But
oh yes. Yeah, I was kind of surprised though that the guy walked away. It kind of felt like an abrupt, like, oh, and he's leaving, because
he's scared of the lullaby, apparently.
Well, I think he's disconcerted because he hasn't heard that from a human, or he's only heard that from certain programs. Put this way, you expect a sort of a nice, gentle conclusion, and it escalates, or it changes, so it kind of keeps you on guard. Although actually, look, there's two of these obelisk things on the stairs. So I noticed that.
He's built them everywhere.
Yeah.
But then Sarah goes up to face him, and he just walks away from him. Yeah, and then the creature takes off. Anyway, so here's Osira hails them again.
I'll blow my ship up before you get to it.
Yeah, the whole "I've got bigger torpedoes" things. Last time we took you out with just a little tiny scout ship. She's like, yeah, you exploited a structural anomaly. I assure you it's been fixed.
And I appreciate that we are calling it out. Yes, we use a little scout ship. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not advanced, it's a little scout ship.
Yeah, until he even says here, just to be clear, I will self-destruct this ship so you don't get the spore drive.
Which I definitely bought the acting. Like that was a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Osiris was like, oh, yeah, but I've been asking myself why you haven't spored out, why you're just sitting here, what you're protecting in that nebula, or who.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get, he's clear, black alerts, and that's when they all beam in to the spore chamber, or whatever, to the spore chamber, and the rest of the ship. So.
Yeah.
And the tentacles come out to attach Discovery.
Which I was not expecting. And gave me instant Lower Decks vibes, because that happened in Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Like, it happened 12 weeks ago, literally.
Until he asks, Stamets, why aren't we jumping away? And I think they're missing a scene here. Because in the last scene, a second ago, her hair was fine. Here, her hair is all, like, disheveled, like the ship got hit or something.
Oh, yeah, literally, seconds later, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there's something missing here. I can buy the tentacles locking onto the ship. Maybe you caused it to... And that would have explained it, but...
So there's a couple of disconnects, though. One... How do they beam through Discovery shields to get these two guys in the spore chamber?
Well, the shields were only up to 40%, I believe.
But 40% is still 40%. I mean, once they
and
feel...
Tilly didn't order the shields up after they decloaked. Which you'd assume they'd be able to keep shields up while they're cloaked with the future tech, but there's never an order for shields up, so yeah.
Yeah, but she does say like target weapons, so I assume that's part of the red alert. Anyway, but it does feel a bit weird. They just beam in, implying that they have the shield harmonics because there's a spy.
Like there's some stuff missing for sure.
Yeah, the ending does feel abrupt in a few ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely abrupt. It's great. It's a good moment. Like it feels really quite but the fact they're wearing headgear as well is odd. I think these are specialist people because no one else ever wears headgear, so that's pretty specialist. And then yeah, I didn't like, as I said before, the only thing I really didn't like with the show's Tilly's being a bad captain in this context of the scene is that yeah, she's calling for Stamets, even though like the crew is like Reese, like they would be like intruders everywhere, and yet she's just like, I'm not going to do anything except call the guy that needs, like she's not active in the situation until boom, then they're going to be all around her. Like she has no command.
She doesn't have the experience. She's a fucking ensign.
Oh, I know. No, I'm saying, but that's why I show she's bad at the job, because when push come to shove, she was good at verbal, but couldn't make any decisions when the time came to do anything useful.
It's played perfectly, because that's exactly how somebody would be in that situation that doesn't have the experience.
But then why is she then? Why is she? Come on.
Because Saru trusts her.
And he was wrong.
I know, but I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying it's played perfectly and totally realistic. Like there's nothing here that's why
I said to you earlier, yes, if her being the Sensen, her being promoted was just to get the ship captured for later in the season, that's fine. I buy it. We
do get a shot of the Discovery from the outside though, with the spinning disc still. Yes. You see the disc spin.
But you can see it is just the inner ring though. It's very clear.
See it? The outer ring.
No,
it's got the registry.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I mean, so in the original Discovery, the full ring spun. I mean, there's an inner part to each ring that spins. The physical ring does not spin, an inner metal spins. So when I say the inner ring, I mean the inner metal of a ring.
But that's what it always did.
No, they actually the full ring spun. Now just the inner bit of the ring spun.
It makes no sense for the full ring to spin though.
I know. Tell Discovery Season 1. They always fully span.
I'm gonna go back and watch that because I don't buy that for a sec.
No, that's why I was impressed that they didn't have the hull no longer had to move. It was just the inner rings, which is how it always should have been. Yeah.
So all the windows and everything moved too.
Yeah.
I disagree, but I'll trust your word on it.
Thanks.
You're wrong, but I'll trust your word. All right, we got 2 super chats. Metallic Fan 1442, 10 pounds.
Oh wow.
When I first watched this episode on Christmas Day, I really disliked the episode, but listening to the discussion, I will agree that there are some positives to it, but still the weakest of season 3 for me. Yeah, and that's mirrors my thinking exactly. It's one of the weakest of season 3, but it's got some good elements, but definitely some shit stuff as well. So
I still think episode 2 is weaker because everything on Discovery is very vanilla. This has lots of because this also gives us the reason for the burning. This is all of the big story. That one was nothing, and then a little bit of story.
And this isn't as bad as Sanctuary. Sanctuary was one we both hated. That's one where they go to his planet.
Yes, Quajon, which you said brilliantly. Yeah, that wasn't as good either. Yeah, that was the worst of the season. I think we'll
Yes.
both agree. And
Yes.
then episode 2 for me is the worst. You would say episode 1 is the second worst based on our
Yes.
scoring, and this is probably
Yep.
equally our third worst. I think we'll both agree
Yeah.
on that. And not because it's bad. It doesn't hit the standard of the other ones. It's weird.
Yep.
Like the bar is
but
better.
then again, with the next part and the next one out, like,
exactly.
this might be really good as part of that. But
be worse if they can't even follow up on it. That's the risk. That's the risk, guys.
And Samu Ray throws in $5.
Thank you.
Compare the exchange with Osira with that of TNG or Voyager. At least the aggressor would be much more coherent. Treated Tilly character with kid gloves. She did kind of, but she had a plan. She had this all sorted out where it's all going to happen at once. And I think even Sari would have been fucked in this situation. So
yeah, I don't know how to respond to that, honestly. That's an interesting observation. But they're just different people. Different situations. I think, honestly, the lady knew she was dealing with a child in the context of her world, you know. So she's being, yeah. She's a child, who cares?
Yeah, but we see her crew beam over. There's Vulcans, there's Andorians.
There's Vulcans? I didn't catch Vulcans.
Oh, well, maybe not. I mean,
it could be
part
Romans.
Of a gun. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, there's definitely humans, Andorians, and Orions.
And I always love the way the Orion makeup, because they have refined it clearly over the last 3 seasons. They just pop. You know, there's certain aggression there. You know, and we both called
the Orion?
Nope, the Andorians. Sorry, thank you.
Oh yes,
the Andorians.
Yes. The Orion makeup's awful. They added prosthetics, and Osira looks like a fucking retard. Like, it just does not look good. Don't do that.
She looked like she had lots of Botox on her cheeks. Her acting is not there. She can't use her full face. It's weird. It's as if she's been digitally de-aged, and therefore the muscles don't work properly. But the Andorians look great. And we know how powerful this gun is, and that does mean that we might get a call back to the guy that died. Well, actually, wouldn't that be cool? Maybe that guy will come back. Maybe he managed to somehow get back to Osira and be in it. Would that be satisfying if he was on the ship? The guy from the bar in episode 2? Would that be
probably? Where is the Andorian with the cut off antenna? He's not in this episode, but he should still be on Discovery.
Would he? I don't know.
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
Why? I don't know. He could have left. Could have asked to be transferred back to a planet. I mean, there's no reason he would be or wouldn't be. You know, it's a gentle medium.
He's still on the ship. It's just one of those jet things where he'll be on the next episode.
Certainly. But then you get more book flying. It's not quite as impactful the second time. Although I like, his "I'm going to save you, Michael."
I love how the ship reconfigures and then it bounces off an asteroid at the end. That was a nice little touch.
It's not too much. It's almost too much, but it's not too much.
So he's here to pick her up.
Well, all 3 of them. Yeah.
Well,
because they have no information, so as far as they're concerned, its mission's obviously a fail because they haven't heard from them.
And this is where he gives her the information about what happened. And she's like, Su'Kal caused the burn? How? And then Culber says, bodies adapt. All this dilithium and subspace radiation, his cells acclimated to it in utero as they divided. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my goddamn life.
And you've met me.
But I know, right?
I talk.
And you talk a lot during these lives. But he was only a child. And Culber says, then something must have happened to trigger him. And again, I totally agree that it's his mother dying that did it. But anyway, yes, Book wants to pull them all out, and they find out Osira is attacking Discovery. So Saru says, Michael, I must ask the impossible. I need you to stay. She's like, Captain, you've made a connection with him. You need to stay. And he even says, I'm the captain. I can't. And she says, he says, I will not allow my emotions to factor into my decisions. Because she said, you're going to be distracted if you go back to Discovery. And he says, I won't let that factor in. And she's like, you already have. I love that.
It's a nice little slap.
Yeah. Dave Stelzer, $2. Sorry I'm late. Here's $2 for spaceship tentacles. Spaceship tentacle porn.
Yeah, it was a little bit that. I did like the
Yeah.
scene. It's a good way of doing the scene, honestly. But I find it a bit odd, and I can't remember when this was. I know we've also gone past it, but when Burnham at one point says, "This is the origin of the burn," and it's like, we knew that 6 episodes ago. Oh, wait, switching back.
She said it right here because book said, you know, got to stop whatever happened because that almost caused another burn.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, he's the origin of the
I don't know.
burn? How?
Yeah, but she says in another scene, this as in this is the origin of the burn, and it's like you knew that 6 episodes ago we triangulated.
Oh.
Like there's no surprise here. He calls it as a surprise, not this is the origin. Like you knew something here was. There's just 2 lines. One doesn't work. And it's a little bit overacted, but you know, or underacted, given they sort of move past it quite quickly. It's both. That's weird.
It's dumb. It needs to be explained better. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Hugh, Dr. Colbert decides to stay because he knows what it's like to be alone in a world that doesn't make sense. No one should experience that. Not you and not Sukal. I'm gonna stay. Tell Paul that I love him. And then Book's like, where are you?
Yeah.
They're staying. She's going.
I didn't quite buy him staying. That felt very random to me. But it's a set. He needs to be in a scene in episode 2. That's the only reason, you know?
Yep.
So that's it. Yeah. Didn't quite get it, but whatever.
Broken Speaker throws in $5. This is total garbage.
Oh.
A crying Kelpian blew up every active ship. This is a breaking point. I hope the Emerald Chain screws them all royally. Wow. I'm not that mad about it. I just think it's weird. It's better be a bit better explanation, is all I'm saying.
And like I said, I like it. Isn't it a big bad? You know?
BJ Tehran, Kingston, Ontario is the origin of the burn.
Stuart,
God damn it, Kingston!
You guys suck, Canada. See, we thought you were so nice. It was all a damn
plan is working.
And actually, it turns out the Orions are all now Canadians, like because they had to destroy everything to rebuild. Emerald Chain is actually Canadian. I actually know that she's a Canadian actress. Yeah, actually, because she was in a Canadian TV show, so she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Adira is aboard Book's ship, and she had to borrow Jet's comm badge.
And the way she comes out into frame is played for laughs.
Yeah.
Like, Adira?
Yeah.
It's quite fun.
I love how he's like, I'm not letting you off my ship. And she's like, they're going to need this medication to survive until Discovery comes back. Reno gave me her badge to transport. I'm not asking for permission. And she beams down. I thought that was actually pretty well done and funny.
My only issue is that she has no idea what's going on there. And therefore, bringing one drug, which presumably they have better drugs, because this is his... Like, she didn't bring this drug. This was a drug on his ship as emergency supply. So she's bringing a less potentially potent drug without an injector that's, like, there's a... You know what I mean? I was assuming it'd be something else they're doing. Like, it seems like a weird plan. And I'm assuming, as someone said earlier in the chat, the holodecks are going to link to the Grey personality and do something. Maybe this is the place that they can interact with Grey. I don't know. But it does feel a bit random. Like, again, this person has to be on the thing in the next episode rather than it makes sense. Because, like I say, they have no idea what the situation is. They could be dead. They have not got a suit. They've not got a tracker. They've not got a phaser. They're going in completely blind. They're probably going to die. What's the point? Because they have to be in season or episode 2. But whatever. Yeah. We don't know yet.
But Burnham gets beamed aboard, and she's like, stay back. He's like, yeah, you're dangerously radioactive. Big deal. And he injects her with the thing. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's going to be fine after she gets some love from Dr. Pollard. Where are the others? We'll have to come back for them. I'll explain later. Shields are going down rapidly at this point. They're 20%. And Adira beamed down. What? On the bright side, they take my radiation pills, so it should buy them some time. So anyway, they get out of there. And this is where we get Stamets. He's like, I won't help you. You can't use it without me. And what you want is irrelevant. And he puts on the thing, and then his eyes go. It reminded me of the Andorian that was flying the Flea ship, the Flea Hollow ship for the Romulans in Enterprise.
It's actually a very effective moment. The helmets are good. The color's good. The sash kind of reminds me of the Klingon sash is good. The helmet is simple but effective. The art design's good. And the way he moves is not fun to watch. So it's a very successful little moment. And it's simple. Of course there'd be like body control tech. Why wouldn't there be? Especially Orion's in slavery. Very, very simple, very effective, yeah. But yeah, at this point, she's on the bridge, and they don't know what's happening. I know it's probably all happening at the same time, but the editing does not work well here. It's like, she's still in the captain's chair, hasn't done a darn sausage, hasn't fired on them, hasn't tried to spore away. Book's been gone for a while now. Like, there's nothing. Nothing's happened. It doesn't feel very good in this moment.
No, I agree. Samuel Wraith, $2. I agree with Broken Speaker. Broken Speaker's last. Super chat. And Mark Ryer Grant throws in $5 with no comment, but thank you very much. That means you love us, and we love that. So thank you so much.
Cool.
And I love this whole, get out of the captain's chair. You'll have to kill me first. What, and get blood all over the chair? Like, I don't like Osira, but I like her in this scene. She's actually a pretty good villain. So
she's a more intelligent villain than she could have been. And yeah, I do like Tilly here, because I don't know why she wouldn't just murder Tilly. That would have been kind of fun, actually. like the way she plays, I'd rather die. You got your wish.
You could have disintegrated her. That wouldn't get blood all over the chair. Come on.
Henchman. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I like the stand here. It's dumb, but it's effective. And yeah, and the way, I know it's a bit gimmicky putting her legs up on the chair.
Well, I like the way she says, "This isn't over," and Osira's like, "Oh, I think it is." And the way she it's really well done. So they have the coordinates for Federation headquarters are already set in. And
it's as if she's like, it's as if you really should have had a lot of security on your most important ship that knows where your secret base is.
Which we've been saying for episodes and episodes and episodes.
Yep. This is what happens when you send an old crew that aren't ability. Like, I'm sure if this was a modern crew, this wouldn't be an issue in the same way. You know?
Yeah. Grom Beetle throws in, or Bestie, sorry, Grom Bestie, €5 with no comment, but thank you very much. And threefold Path throws in £5. Killing off Tilly could have saved this episode.
I was just meaning in the context of it being a really dramatic moment. It obviously doesn't work for like the show. Although Tiburon says, "I don't get why you don't like Osira. What's your issue with her?"
I just can't stand her. I don't know why. I mean, I'm supposed to not like her. She's a bad guy, right?
It's true. Yeah.
This scene, I think she's great. Most other scenes, something about her just annoys me. On the view screen, her face looks all distorted and weird, and I don't know.
The problem is she's not very good in this role. As we said last time, she's not a good choice for this role, and she feels as if the makeup is like plaster on her. She doesn't act through her cheeks very much. Her forehead is all mouth acting, so she feels very plain. And she's better in this week, for sure. But she's unimpressive. And if she's the big bad, she's one of the worst big bads, considering, like even just, I haven't rewatched the scene. You remember that one Orion guy that holds up to Paul in Enterprise and is like, "You get more than my wife." Like
that's the Big Show. He's a wrestler.
Yeah, like he's much better acting than, like, I bought him as a villain way more than her. You know what I mean? Like in his one couple lines. Not that she's bad. She's, I think, poorly cast with the makeup and everything.
Mark Ryer Grant, $5. Fans, if the burn is Burnham, I'll rage. Star Trek. It's a genetically modified life form in a nebula. Fan, rage. At least it's not about Michael.
I haven't raged once about that. I'm absolutely fine with that. I think it's kind of interesting.
I just need a better explanation.
Part 2. It's got a lot to love to part 2.
Exactly. And Mark Lawrence throws in $10. Thank you, Mark. Good to see you. Crying in every episode, and now crying caused the burn. Oy vey. What is with the writing team's crying obsession? Will crying give back control of Discovery to? Yeah, all Tilly has to do is get on her knees and be like, I'm sorry I failed. Please give me my ship back. I don't want to look bad in front of Saru. Oh, okay, then here you go. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, to be fair, as I've said before, I think it's the mum dying caused the burn, as in, and I'm okay with him crying at the death of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And Joe Byram says Captain Foley doesn't like her because she doesn't have big titties. That is 100% not true.
What a weird comment.
It is a very weird comment. Higgins from the new Magnum PI, super attractive British actress. She's amazing. No tits to speak of, and she's one of my favorite characters.
I don't like when people bring it down to sexist stuff like that. It's like, why would that be a comment? I mean, those enhance certain people's looks, perhaps, but they don't detract from the acting. You know how most films have acting close-ups?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. Anywho. Yeah, so I like the whole, so what do you say when you spore jump kind of thing? Nobody? Oh, okay, fine then. Just get us out of here.
I love the fact that she's basically very successfully, I mean, really, like, textbook, golden ticketed her way into Starfleet Command. Like, it shows how easy it was, really. You know? There was very few safety protocols. But there's something about this sinister simpleness. Like, she had this planned, and boy, she outthought them. Like, they were not ready for this. But again, don't put an ensign cap in command. That was your first mistake.
Rebel Poet 71. I like Keira Knightley. She has Michael Jackson tits. Yeah, pretty much. And concurrent, we've got 293 viewers and 288 likes. Now, the question is, can we get 12 more likes? Are there 12 people out there that have?
Yes.
There has to be 12 people that can hit the like button to get us to 300. That'd be awesome.
Oh, Dave L, great comment. Locking out the computer and our data. That would have been nice. Computer locked on the... But I think they wanted the cliffhanger of... And cliffhanger. So that would have been kind of nice to have like a... They've got to crack the code. That would have been kind of cool. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, Booker. Yeah, Book. That's his actual name, Booker. Book and what's or not, Michael show up. God damn, I've been talking about Star Trek too much. And it's like, no. And they got there just in time to see not only Discovery, but also a Cyrus ship spore out. We're too late. Oh, obviously, you dumbass. So now any ship connected to Discovery can also spore jump. So just lock them together via airlocks. You can all spore 5 or 6 ships at a time.
I mean, this ship is infinite. Is what, 10 ships worth of ship? 20 ships worth of ship? You could. I mean, I joked to you previously. I think this is going to lead to them spore jumping Starfleet Command. I think because once they know where location is, they're gonna have to spore it. I think it'll be silly.
That'd be interesting.
But it'll be interesting. Yeah, I could see that.
I think we'll complain about it, but
depends how they do it. Now I will say though, something pinged. Something came out. Can you still hear me? Oh, yes. The hard drive. Okay. The hard drive. Oh, okay. I think though, again, this episode is a setup. I think what someone's gonna say next part is, wait, did we just spore jump with your ship? Yes, you did, little one. Turns out if you scan your tech enough, I've worked out a reverse engineering. It's not that hard. And then they say, through the tentacles I'm linking in. Easy done. Like, it's the tentacles that, like, they're not there as, like, grapplers. They are there to actually link into my CDL energy. Done.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the prediction for next week because I would love to see Admiral Vance have a plan. Just when you think all the ships are down and everything's screwed, all of a sudden, like 4 or 5 Federation ships spore jump in because they've installed spore drives on them. There's been enough time for them to, with that future tech and programmable matter, make their own spore drives. You know?
Yes.
But we'll talk about that on Wednesday, so join us for that.
But the Remedy 87, first time I've joined a live, but I've binged your channel over the past month. Thank you for great content.
Ooh.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for watching all that content. We appreciate that.
Our voices have never got old.
Hit like on all of them. That's important.
And can we ask, like, what did you see first? What got you into the channel, and anything you've enjoyed particularly? We hear a lot of different what's, how's, and who's. But good to hear. And if you're brand new, that's even more interesting.
The Ronin, $2. Completely forgot to hit like until now. Sorry, no problem. We're already over 300, so that's awesome.
And people ask why we say click like so many times in videos. Because people forget. People tune out.
I forget all the time, and I'm a YouTuber. I'll be watching somebody else's channel, and literally, as it's coming right to the end, and they're like, don't forget to hit that like button. I'm like, oh shit, and I scramble sometimes to hit like, because it's important for YouTubers. So I try to do it, but I a lot of times forget, and I myself am one. So that's sad. Sad but true.
Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback, $5.
Thank you.
Zora appears next episode and beams the EC people into space.
Ooh, graphic.
Emerald Chain, sorry. Tilly goes killy and throws Osira into an airlock and purges it, ending the threat. Hey, I'd love to see a fight between Tilly and Osira. I think that'd be awesome.
No,
And it's warranted at this point.
Yeah, now you've said that, that feels natural.
Yeah.
I could see that being a thing.
Samu Ray, $2. The dual spore jump was a perfect shat ending.
Well, it was unexpected because that's not how that works necessarily. But the thing is, it gave us some amazing stakes for next week because it's a setup episode, you know.
Yeah.
But I do absolutely think that you're right. I think Vance is going to have. He'll have reverse engineered the spore tech, and we're going to see multiple ships. And we've never got an answer to where the dilithium is that Discovery brought, which was enough to do several quadrants. So I'm really hoping that we get. Well, I guess he sent ships to Kaminar. He clearly is more able to send ships than he used to be. I definitely want to sense that.
Yeah, the Remedy 87 says, thanks for the shout. I found you guys through your various analysis and breakdowns of ship designs. I love the detail of discussion. Before you guys, I never thought about correct window scale. Hey, we're getting the word out there, so we love that.
And I don't know if you've watched our episode, but go watch the episode on the Stargate Prometheus if you found a Stargate, because we go into the reasons why the online scales are total nonsense. Short answer being, because if they were right, then 3 rows of windows equal 1 deck. I don't think that makes sense. But guess what? The CGI scale, 1 row of windows is 1 deck. Oh my god. And the fighters fit in the hangar bay. And the people fit in the fighters. As if it was all designed together. Oh my god, yeah. Ooh.
That's what we do. Cornelius Iron, $2. The damn sphere data is sleeping on the job. It is, unless it's learning and trying to, not tipping its hand too soon. So.
Well, to be fair, I think the scene, even though it doesn't feel it, was more abrupt than we're led on. So I think they got, beamed aboard, spored out within like 5 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
If not 2 minutes or less. So, Yeah.
Mark Ryer Grant, $10. Next week, Book Ships gives dilithium to all of Starfleet ships, and they launch an attack to retake Starfleet HQ, much like retaking of DS9, My New Year's Wish. That won't work. They already sent ships up to Kaminar, so the fleet's already divided and not at Starfleet headquarters, which is part of the plan of Osira. You're going to find that out, which is why I think it's great that it would be a great twist if all of a sudden a couple of ships spore in at the last minute of the next episode to be like, haha, we've got spore tech on other ships as well, and we've accounted for this. I want Vance to be on top of things, is what I'm saying.
That's really interesting. Yeah, the problem with Osira's plan is that how much of a plan is tricky. She didn't know where Discovery was going, so the attempt was to get appealed to Kaminar, but then she would have to fight a fleet. It was unexpected that she found them somewhere else. So that wasn't the plan. Yeah. But now I like the fact that, obviously, if she'd got Discovery, she would have been a spore right back to Starfleet Command and the ships would be left at Kaminar. So either way it works. But this way around, she doesn't have to fight those original ships. So yeah, that's actually a good idea. I like that. But I would love the idea of hearing that, we've managed to triple our fleet size of active ships since Discovery came in. Hence why we could send, 15 ships to Kaminar, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oi, oi, Governor, £2. Luke Skywalker swoops in and saves the day again.
I mean,
we're going to see a green lightsaber flyer up.
No, we'll have a scene where Burnham says, "We're suddenly a single X-wing. What can that do?"
Oh yeah, we're saved.
Then R2D2 takes his jetpacks, comes aboard Book Ship, and says, and holograms the new spore data, and because turns out they're in the past, and the spore data got Discovery to go into the past, and the past is where Star Wars is, and it brought Luke into the future to help them. Because he's part of the Temple Cold War. Mark Hamill now canon. But guys, I think we're now at the end of the show, and we do. I would love to see it. And we should get another $50 if that is possible. We've got a lot of people. It's $50. I would like to see your super chat scores. So if 10 of you can put 5 in, that should be easy or more. That'd be great. 50 more, perfect. But Stuart, I have not thought about my personal score. How do you think, though, before we get into full scores, do you think differently about this episode, having now discussed it? Especially, obviously, we had this one this morning, but this was definitely more in depth. Do you feel any different? Do you get the sense you may do?
Yes, I do feel different because after we discussed it earlier, I had to do screen cap, so I had to watch it twice.
Yeah.
And the discussion, it is better than it looks at first glance, for sure. The more you watch this, the better the episode gets. Because you do pick up some little nuances. So it is better for me than what it was, but it's still not one of the best of season 3 by any stretch.
But that's a high bar now.
That being said, it's only part 1 of maybe a 3-part arc. So it could be fantastic. I just don't know yet. Yeah. But as it stands by itself, it's a little bit so there was a lot of good, like I said, seeing Doug Jones be Doug Jones and not a character or a creature of some kind was very, very welcome.
And it is different because we both met him. I've met him twice, and we got really nice. When you met him, it was really, really like a nice vibe because he's just a nice chap. And so it is like seeing the guy we met.
Yeah.
And considering he filmed that not that long before. Actually, no, he may have actually been filming at the same time. Actually.
Possible.
Because that was Vegas, and they
All right, guys. Sorry.
It's weird to think, actually.
Yeah, because they flew in from Toronto to Vegas because they were filming in Toronto at the time. Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay. The special effects were great in this one. Seeing Tilly in the captain's chair was good, the way she stood up to Osira, but at the same time, being inexperienced enough, she had that fine line of trying to be the tough guy, but yet not knowing what the hell to do. I thought that was great, because if she was an ensign that had superpowers and could just be a super captain right off the hop, that would have really not been great. So the way they played it, I think, was very well done.
Flaws and all.
Yes.
As in on purpose.
Sukal was... Finding out it's acted by a 70-year-old is amazing.
Yeah, that's...
But interesting character, very childlike, but at the same time, the visuals just... Sorry, it's Freddy Krueger in my mind, unfortunately.
Kelpian Kruger.
Yes. But other than that, I mean, seeing Jet in it, even if for a second, was good. Don't forget about your characters.
A second.
Always important.
A second.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. But overall, I mean, that's the explanation for the burn. That's because the burn. How? Well, it was a baby in the womb, so it absorbed radiation and is tied. What? That's a great explanation. No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's unsatisfactory to me. It needs to be expanded on. It was a science vessel, so if they wanted to make sure the child survived and she started tampering with its genetics while it was still in the womb, all right, cool. We got an explanation there. No real answers in that regard.
They did imply that all. It's all in there.
It's implied. It's implied, but you have to listen very carefully. And on a first watch, a lot of people probably miss that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I missed the first one, but that's what part 2 is for.
True. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So for all these reasons, honestly, I'm going to give this one probably a.
And just to be clear, he doesn't know that his scores for either episode. He doesn't remember any of them. So his gut reaction here is the important thing. It may actually be better than the other ones. You don't know. So gut reaction score. Go for it.
Honestly, it's probably a 6.5 out of 10 for me. Maybe a 6. 6 was my initial thought, but I think I bumped it up half a point just by discussing it again. And it's not as bad as I think it could be. But just for season 3, it's just not. It's better than Sanctuary, but Sanctuary is an awful episode in my opinion. Again, a lot of Osira in that episode, so there's just Osira I don't like.
No, it's the actor. The actor and the way it's acting it. The character's fine.
It's Margot Kidder's niece. Did you know that? Margot Kidder from the original Superman movies. She's played Lois Lane. You can tell it's related to her because they have very similar facial structures.
Now you've said that. Yeah, now you've said that. I can picture that.
Yeah.
Huh.
But anyway, so yeah, that's my score. It's all right. It's worth rewatching. And if the next part is the middle of a 3-part act, then okay. As a first part of a 3-part act, this is probably pretty great. Depends what follows, but yeah, as a standalone, as an explanation for the burn, it's just kind of like, what? Okay, not impressed. Moving on. So that's where I stand.
But would you agree, though, it's good that it's not like, it's the Borg, or it's Section 31, or it's Control?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad it's none of those things. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, we're still about $25 away. So super chat now. Stuart will read those after I give my score, and then I'll read all the non-super chats. So just give all your scores. Go, go, go. I would love to know the scores. So guys, put in the scores now. Out of 10. So yeah, for me, this is very middle of the road. It's interestingly creative, but doesn't do anything particularly amazing. Like really anything. But it does have a unique vibe. It's a weird vibe. The holodeck was a good wraparound story. I like the creativity of the way they're presented was fun. It was different. Burnham was good again. Cobb was good. Sarah was less good, but for a very for specific reason. Tilly was good once you ignore the fact that she shouldn't be captain, but whatever. Once you go past that, boom, fine. The bridge crew lady annoyed me. Should have been one of the other guys. I just feel sorry for them at this point. I know they're getting paid, but come on, give them lines. Come on. Sarah was better as well, so that was good. Vance was good. We were right about a lot of things. The burn thing was fine. It's like, it's not the worst thing it could have been. And as considering how bad Picard shit the bed at the end, this is no Picard, you know? Like, that pissed me off. That pissed you off. This doesn't piss either of us off. It's just like, okay.
Not yet. It's still good.
Sure. Well, but if your gut reaction isn't being pissed off, like, the Picard one was pissed off at the start and at the end. Anyway.
Yeah, I think this is heading to more of just being let down as opposed to pissed off.
If anything, yeah. But it's a galaxy-spanning destruction of... Like, it's such a huge concept, you know? It's hard to kind of make that good. I thought I was going to give it a lower score. I'm kind of surprised how high you went, I'll be honest. Although, having gone back, the scores actually fits with what you said previously, so good job, without realising.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well done.
I was worried it was going to be, like, too high, but...
No, you actually... That is interesting. Because I was a 6 as well. It's kind of where I was leading into. But I don't know if you can be higher than me, because I like it more than you, clearly. But I don't know if I can get a 6.5, so I'm kind of confused now.
Discussing it made it seem not as bad as I thought it was initially. So that's why I had to bump it up at least half a point.
Why don't
I'm not going to go 6.1.
Okay, Stuart. Let's have a bit of a pact here, right? Let's both go 6.5, and we both reserve the right to lower the score.
We always do that, though.
We
always reserve the right.
But this is like a real, like, we reserve the right. Well, I'll be generous, you'll be, whatever. And if it shits the bed, we'll both lower the score. I think
Christian Montgomery, though, says, hashtag justice for Sophia. Don't forget to go tweet it. Anthony Rapp just liked mine. Pretty cool. So yeah, let's push it again. Every live, we're going to push it until the end of Discovery. Go on Twitter, hashtag justice for Sahil, at Trekyards, and at Doug Jones, at Albino Kid, at Mary Wiseman, at Sonequa Martin Green. Do it. Let's get it. And at Mike McMahon.
Oh yeah, he should bring it back Zahil. Or
let's get it out there.
Or like Zahil's great grandfather. And he was also left at a signal outpost.
No, that was his first assignment. He was super excited to be going out to this, you know, this what is it? A relay station. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some super chats to read.
Excellent.
They're not all score related, but that's okay.
$8 away. 8 guys, keep that in mind.
Yep. Threefold Path throws in £5. I fear this season is going to have as unfulfilling an ending as Picard. Like I said, I don't think it'll piss us off. I'd just be disappointed because it was such a good season otherwise. Well, better than the last 2 seasons.
But that's just because the expectations got raised. That's the weird thing. It's like they did better, so we expect more. If they can't quite raise that, but I think also it'll really depend on how much it makes us excited for season 4. You know, because it does. I mean, come on, it's definitely going to be a two season arc. Clearly, you know, at this point, clearly, and that's exciting.
Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2, 6 out of 10 for the episode, 10 out of 10 for Trekyards. A lot of meh. Yeah, that's the same thing I feel like with Sanctuary, just kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
with some real Blair. That's some meh and some real Blair. This has meh with some air.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't going to vocalize it quite the same, but yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Eugene, 500 rubles. Thank you.
Thank you.
4 out of 10. The pace is off. There was a lot of good scenes, but it's all overshadowed by cry, burn, reveal, and Osira being plot armored, mustache twirling, evil villain of villainy and evilness. Worse than a Kazan. Well, apparently somebody in the chat said earlier that Karen, I think it's Karen, the actress that plays Osira, wasn't given any information on Orions at all. So she had to kind of do her own research. She wasn't told how to play it. So, which I can see this crew definitely doing.
I mean, I'm not sure how you'd play necessarily Orion. You know, we've seen either slave prostitutes or men.
Yeah, all you know how to do is dance. Yeah.
So, and to be fair, Tindy was so great and refreshing, but she didn't act Orion, you know? So I don't know what you'd even take from that necessarily. Yeah, I'm sorry, Broken Spear, but put in a non-super chat and put like bracket super chat and I'll read it. Sorry if it's, but hey, iPhones are sometimes not good.
Captain Kurt puts in $5.
Hey.
I would love to see the Voyager J and USS Nog spore in to be the hero ships in the finale with commanding and competent captains. Yes, I would be down with this. But I'd love them to spore jump in. That would be a nice little, and you've been installing spore tech.
Considering we're not spore drive fans, but when you build something, that does feel like a payoff. And especially as I can imagine doing a full CGI bridge and having that lady, the second in command lady, her on a bridge in a captain's chair, you know. And even to be fair, maybe like a redress La Serena bridge, you know, like, you know, that captain's chair, then the lighting, and you know, that could be good.
Christopher Beatty, $5. Happy New Year's, 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Threefold Path, £5. I hope that it was actually the ship that caused the burn, and he triggers it through the holodeck program somehow. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, because he's. But then that.
Well, it could be a defense mechanism, but they didn't expect it to be that close to, you know, a one of a kind dilithium thing, and so it's kind of like everything put together.
Or because the ship has crashed into like the planet, its deflector array is aimed at a raw dilithium thing that amplified it, and sure.
Because think about it, are you really going to give your 4-year-old son the know-how of how to fire weapons, or would you set it automatically to his brain so if he thinks under attack it'll help? I think you could argue that. That's actually pretty interesting.
And since it's malfunctioning, it's just amplified. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Needs to be explained though. Oi, Governor throws in £2. The burp, more like Barney Grumble caused the burp. What? The burn, more like what? The burp. Okay, Barney Grumble. Burp. There you go. Eugene, 100 rubles. Oh no, please no. Don't do season 2 finale space battle. The entire Emerald Chain and Federation fleets. You know, a lot of the fleet of both are at Kaminar right now. So I would love them to spore into Starfleet headquarters with like 2 or 3 ships there that aren't powered up or ready to go. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Wednesday when we talk about our predictions video, because you see some scenes from the next one, obviously. And I'm interested to talk about that, because there's some stuff I would like to see. Whether we'll see it or not, I don't know. But, yeah, you know.
All right. Let me do the non-super chat scores. Let's see where everyone lies on that. So I feel like the scores will be quite consistent with the super chat ones. Let's have a look. So we've got a 3 out of 10, 2.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 5, 4, 4, 4, 6.5, 2, 5, 6.8, 1, 9, if they kill Tilly. Scroll, 6, 7, 6.8, 5, 7, 7, 4, 6, 5.5, 5, 7, 6.5, 4, 6, 3, 6, 6.5. A lot of minus numbers. 7.
I think the average sounds like it's around 3.5, 4 is what I'm kind of getting.
I'm seeing a lot of 6 and 7s though.
Exactly, 7 and then 1. So there's half of that is 4, which is the average. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I would have said the average is probably a 5. But and more scores.
No, we didn't get a 10. We didn't get 1 10. We got a 1.
Well, we got more 7s than we got 1 1 though. I mean, more 7s than 1 1. And
you know how averages work, right?
Oh, yeah, I know you can throw off an average, but if you get 8 7s and 1 1, you shouldn't lower it to an average of 4, really. Like that would be. But we got 7
4.5 is the average. There you go.
7 3 6 6.5 6.5 7 7 7 0 0 8. Same guy said 0 though. Okay, so we were more generous, I guess, but I mean we did just spend 2 hours talking about it. But that's the thing though. For me, it could have done some more stuff wrong and it would drop like a stone, but it avoided some pitfalls. And you know me, I'm not
avoid some pitfalls. Yes.
And you know me, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything, and you often complain that I complain too much, you know, which I don't think is fair because I just give a balanced, whatever. Yeah. But guys, we are $2 away from a nice round number. So $2. Stuart, you give us a like goal, and I gave us a very, 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 moderate super chat goal.
Yes. $2 more. Right now, Eugene has the last super chat slot. So who wants it?
But how many likes do you want, Stuart? Where's your goal? I want to know your goal.
Hold on, I'm getting there in a second. You snipe in with $1 or whatever for the last super chat slot. We got $2 that we need. As for my last like goal honestly was 300. I haven't said anything since then. I don't really want to say anything else because we got 260 people here. But let's hit 340. Why not? 8 more likes. I think we can do it. I think 8 people out there haven't hit like, so sure. There you go.
And yes, Area 51 I thought the same as I was going through. Not quite as clever as Brent, but
Sam Uray throws in $2. This show sucks.
Better than it's ever been.
TMA puts in $2. Matt Boardman puts in $5. Sniper, good to see you, Matt.
Even.
Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Money. Brett Barrow, hey Brett, how's it going? $2. I love this one. It felt like a good Voyager 2-parter. Absolutely, that's a great explanation.
It did feel like a Voyager. I actually think that's good because they like the holodecks, especially. Yeah. And Brett, I was gonna message you. Can I message you? Tell me don't pay me by super chat. Tell me I can message you. That's absurd. Tell me a non-paid
Brett,
super.
Just message him on Facebook or message me.
Well, don't message him. He doesn't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you.
I talk to Brett all the time. What are you talking about? Me and Brett are buddies. You never mind. Threefold Path, 5 pounds. Next week looks like an action episode from the trailer.
Yep.
So not sure how much explanation there's going to be. Well, we'll see.
Remember,
doesn't
guys,
take much.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much for an explanation. It literally takes a line or two.
And they're 55-minute episodes, so they push that boundary as far as you can go. So they can cram a lot in. I'm not worried about that. It's not Mandalorian 40 minutes or 36. If you take out last time on and next time on, like 12 minutes. Okay.
Metallica fan, 1442, 2 pounds. Happy New Year's, fellas. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Caboodle Fish, 2 pounds. Next vid, Burnham, the root of all evil. Control plus burn. Oh, good God. No.
Dear.
Eugene, 100 rubles.
Hey.
It feels as if they again filmed the start and the end of the episode first, then filmed the middle later, with more thought and experience.
It does feel a little bit reshooty. There's a few elements where we could talk about the editing being a bit off.
Yeah.
So I could see them starting to change at the end of the season a little bit, which does happen. So I could probably see that.
Vindor throws in $2. Vindor likes to read.
Isn't that the guy from Lower Decks?
I have no idea.
Isn't Vindor the guy from the guy who says Vindor? No.
Anyway, Vindor now has the last super chat slot, so we've hit our goal of.
Yes, I was right.
Super chat.
Vindor, this is Vindor.
Oh yes.
Yes.
The big guy. Yeah.
Yes.
Vindor likes to read. So we need 3 more likes to hit the super chat goal. So 3 people haven't hit the like button. I know it. So hit the like button, guys. And
although not to be, don't you just love Might of a Man? So this guy who played Vindor is called Kevin Michael Richardson. He also was in Star Trek Into Darkness as a voiceover artist, and he did voiceover for 5 different Star Trek video games, including Starfleet Command 1, Star Trek New World, Starfleet Star Trek Command 2, or Starfleet Command 2, Empires at War, Deep Space Nine The Fallen as Benjamin Sisko, and Klingon Academy. So, yeah.
Good job, Mike McMahon.
Hired a Trek alumni in his own way.
2 more likes.
Ooh.
2 more likes. Tangerine Star 26 has the last super chat slot with £1. Now it's Lo Wang 35.
Oh my goodness.
With 100 krona probably. Don't blow your fingers off. Okay.
We will try not to.
And Mal Simmons, £2. Well done, guys. Loving your work. Thank you very much, Mal.
And I've got to say, I love that you use an Xbox avatar. I made that one fondly years ago, my one. I love seeing that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And good to see people loving our work. And Mal, you are now the last super chat slot. We've hit our super chat goal and our likes goal, which is
beautiful.
Awesome.
Yes, that's always good.
And as I said, if you're on Twitter, guys, it's important. Go on Twitter when this is over. # Justice for Sahil. Tag Trekyards at Trekyards. And also tag all the Discovery actors you can think of. Let's get that being a thing.
Oh, you know what I feel important. Like needs to be done? A fan film of just Discovery just getting Sahil. Like, you know. Because is there a moment, like, do CGI where he looks out a window. Like, you rotoscope him, so he looks out a window, and you see a spore drive jump in, and they say, this is, you know, and then you, like, go on cap. Yeah.
Then you see his face, and put a CGI tear. Like, just happy tear.
Or you deep fake him with the extra stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go on Cameo and you pay one of the Discovery cast to voice over, Sahil, it's us, we're here.
Yeah. Tangerine Star 26, £1. He's got now the last super chat slot.
Goodness.
So yes, guys, if you're on Twitter, please go do Justice for Sahil and tag all the Discovery people you can, as well as make sure you tag Trekyards as well so we can see it. Last one really kind of blew up and went a little bit viral. Let's try to make it viral for each live that we do until they bring the poor guy back.
Yes.
So.
And in fact, you can get Wilson Cruz. You can pay Wilson Cruz to go on Cameo. So if you want to pay Wilson Cruz to say, "This is Dr. Culber, Zahil, we're here to save you,"
I could probably get Stamets to do it.
Or Mary Shifo, you know, "This is hell," and I want to. Or Emily Coutts, you know, Detmer. This is Captain Detmer of the Discovery.
No, don't want her. Matt Boardman, $1. Thank you very much, Matt. Matt is now the last super chat sniper.
Snapper. On that note, guys, when are we seeing you next, Stuart? Because we haven't talked about this at all.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
We're going to be doing a live, I assume.
Predictions, yeah, I guess. Damn. Straight to predictions.
Is tomorrow Wednesday?
Yeah. No, today. Well, yeah, for me it is, yes. Because
tomorrow's Tuesday. I don't know if we're doing a live on Tuesday. If we can think of a good topic, we will. But definitely Wednesday we'll be doing one prediction video. So
yes, because I'm looking at my calendar at 0006. Therefore, to me, the calendar says tomorrow's Wednesday. So yes.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, I'm right.
But you're wrong.
In my world.
Exactly, you're wrong. Oh well. All right, guys. So yeah, just keep an eye on Facebook and
Dave
YouTube.
L says, "Is the 9 p.m. start a new thing or a once off?" Dave, we've done this about 4 times in a row now. When the Discovery start to be ramping up stuff, so it's happened the last multiple weeks. I guess you haven't been here. Oh no, probably going to continue for the rest of the last 2, and then we'll see. Only if it's like we know there's gonna be stuff to talk about, because we did fill the full 3 hours, so you know it wasn't enough to talk about. So yes.
Yeah. So make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure that you've subscribed to the channel, and make sure that you've hit the notification bell icon so you get notified when we're going to be uploading or doing lives, because we might be doing one tomorrow. If not, we'll do one Wednesday for sure.
And we do have those animations coming out, so do check them out. I put time and effort into those.
Yes.
And comment, because the comments are appreciated, because I like to hear you guys' feedback on them.
Yes.
Please do.
And hit Twitter, #Justice for Sahil. Do it now. Anyway, we are out of here. Thank you very much, guys. We got 2 new members during this live. I only saw one.
Yeah, what was the second one?
Hold on, let me go take a look. I just checked the metrics as we were leaving. It's like, what? 2 new members? I don't remember.
Thanks,
so we got the
guys.
governor.
We love you.
Governor joined at the rank of commander. I don't see another one. Unless it happened before the stream started, because that sometimes doesn't show up.
No, I don't think so, because I was looking earlier and I had one. I guess maybe that could have just been before we got the new one. Well, hey, thanks.
Thanks for joining, guys. Much appreciated. Let's see here.
And have a great rest of the day. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Dale, thanks so much. Oh,
anyway, bye, guys.
Bye, guys. We love you. Bye.
Bye.